Live from beautiful downtown Bastrop, it's time for the Stage Select, starring Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
What could this possibly be? Seems a lot like a podcast. Wonder what specifically. Talking about video games. With your hosts, you're in good hands. Not more of the same. Now we'll jump right in. So expect the unexpected and more. Now we'll get grooving. There ain't always gonna walk through the door. There just might be some treasure in this chest. Having fun with our special guest. Time for Stage Select.
And here are your hosts, Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
Welcome, one and all, to the Stage Select. I'm Julian Titus.
And I'm Justin Ham. Hello. We're doing it.
We are.
Yeah.
We're a regular show. Everything's back to normal. Set. It looks like it's supposed to again. We're together.
Yeah. It was nice to, have, some time off, I guess, and let other people do stuff. But I mean, we didn't. Like, we were still here. It was weird. Like, normally you would just close down in those circumstances. I don't know why we, did a show. It's weird.
Yeah. Lots of things are weird, Justin, and we just don't comment on it and move on. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I guess we commented on it, so I guess it wasn't fine. Well, yeah.
We're a minute into the show. We already have the episode.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't fine.
Who knows?
It's weird because we've done, we haven't missed a week, but it feels like it's been ages since we just sat down to just shoot the shit about video games.
Yeah.
Because last episode we were doing all of our E3 or not E3 coverage. And the week before that was a special recording because I was out of town, which I will actually talk about later on in this episode. But this week we can actually talk about shit. And right off the jump, I have to actually talk about something major that happened to me because it actually kind of colors the entire week.
Okay.
So Sunday morning, wake up with a really bad leg cramp, worst one I've had in a long time. And I also haven't had a leg cramp in quite some time. Yeah. But this was a bad one. This was it was pretty rough. And so I work it out, and it took a while to keep it. It wasn't the worst leg cramp I've ever had. The worst ones will make me scream. Okay. This wasn't that bad, but it was still pretty rough. And then I was like, oh man, okay, it's morning, gotta pee. And I had just finished working out the leg cramp, get up, start to do my dirty, sinful business. And I'm I feel kind of lightheaded. That's weird. I'm wondering if it was from the cramp or whatever, or it got up too fast. And I braced myself on the towel rack. Mm-hmm. And I remember, the next thing I remember was dreaming. And then woke up on my bathroom floor with the bar from the towel rack in my hand still.
Yep. You'll have that. Yep.
And so I passed out in my bathroom. I'm glad that I braced myself because that, I think what happened was I went down in two stages. I think I hit on my ass first and then I hit and then I fell backwards and it could have been bad, dude.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
My head could have gone through my shower door and who knows what happens then. But as it is, I just bunked myself on the ass and then bunked myself on the head. But I'm pretty sure that I had a mild concussion. Because I was fuzzy and sleep, really, I had to sleep a lot and I had a really bad headache, which I took a leave for and stuff like that. I didn't go to the doctor because I can't afford that. Just to say oh, you've got a mild concussion, go home and rest. Right. That's kind of that's what you do. Yeah. And so I actually did call in on Monday. I was planning on working, but as the evening went on, I was no, this is still, I'm still feeling weird. And I wasn't sleeping well because it was just all wonky. but it ended up being, and the thing about me is that like whenever I'm out sick or whatever, I feel really bad and I get really worried about like getting behind on work and blah, cause that's just kind of how my work ethic is. Like I'm always, wanting to keep things moving and I want to do my part and what have you. Turns out it was like the best week to get a mild concussion because we had like a company wide, like, computer implosion. Oh, good. Where like the entire system went down for everybody all week.
Oh, nice.
Monday, I mean, I had called in. I actually don't know what's going to happen as far as like pay for the rest of the week because like the people who work in the office were in the office on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday, they were like, well, you've got Juneteenth off because we need to get to the bottom of this. So they just let everybody off. So I know I'm getting paid for that day. I don't know about the rest of the week. It might be rough. I might have to like dip into savings to like get by for this month. But regardless, like it did two things. One, I was able to like recover without, missing any actual productivity. And the other thing is that I got to like play some video games. Yeah. Not a ton because like I was, I was definitely like in and out of sleep and stuff. And also like monitoring my phone constantly because so they actually we had to take our laptops in, and thankfully, like, one of my coworkers that's remote is in Austin. So she came and grabbed my laptop and she took ours to the office. It's about 2 hours away.
Oh, okay.
And I said, okay, well, I'll go pick ours up, to return the favor when they're done. But as of right now, we're recording this on Friday night. They're still not ready. Oh, okay. I kind of have a feeling that they might call me in and say, hey, over the week, they'll be like, hey, it's ready. I'm like, okay.
They're going to do it during the show. They're just going to call in.
Right.
It's time right now. Go.
Yeah. But yeah, so, always monitoring the phone to see if I'm needed or like, if like the laptop is ready or anything like that. So it wasn't like a relaxing, time off, but it did afford me the ability to, like I would check my phone in the morning and be like, okay, still no word. I can kind of like, go back to sleep for a little bit, check it again, that type of thing. And as of right now, like I feel pretty normal, except my ass still hurts. Like I must have hit it pretty hard.
Yeah, you must have landed on that pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why I'm thinking that was the first impact, because my head feels fine now. Like, the head definitely was hurting for like a good like 2.5 days, like pretty hard.
I believe it.
But yeah, so that kind of informs the whole week. It was a weird week, so that's why there's not going to be like any like this week we don't have any of like the political ads running or any like pre-recorded bits because I didn't have time to prepare them. So Weston, if you're listening to this, it's going to be a much less fun episode of the Stage Select than usual.
Very serious.
Yeah, very dry. The very Weston pilled episode of the Stage Select. Yeah. So he'll appreciate that. He doesn't like fun. Those are words that he said to me on Twitter.
That's good. Yeah. Who does really?
I get. Yeah.
Who has the time for fun? Not me.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
No. Very serious all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Justin, I don't know. It's weird. I sat down to test my mic before, and I felt like it had been ages since I had done this, but it's like, we just did this last week, but it was such a different format that it feels like I haven't gotten to talk to you about.
It was a different kind of episode. That's fine. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Julian, I gotta go. I gotta leave right now. I gotta go. Just stay here. Don't move. Okay. Don't move. Oh, hey, man. Hey, Julian. Hey, man.
Hey, Abramo.
Hey, man.
Where have you been?
Like around, man.
Okay.
Hey, I was cleaning the bathroom.
Oh.
You remember how you told me to like clean the bathroom?
I mean, I remember when I hired you that I said that would be one of your duties, but then I hadn't seen you since then. Oh. So I didn't know you had actually started. But
well, I mean, I thought you told me to clean it. Well, it doesn't matter, man. So I was cleaning the bathroom, right?
Right.
And there was a man in there, and I said, "Hey, man." And he said, "Hey," and I said, "Hey, I gotta clean the bathroom," and he was like, "Okay, man." I said, "Okay." And he said, okay, man, hey, have you, so I was cleaning the bathroom and he said, hey, man, I'm sorry, I lost track of where I was in the story.
You were cleaning the bathroom. You told the guy that you had to clean the bathroom.
Right. Yeah. And he was like, okay. And then, so I started cleaning it and he was looking at me, like he knew me and stuff. And I said, okay. And he said, okay. And he just kept saying what I said to him over and over again like that. It was very weird.
Abramo.
Yeah.
Were you facing the mirror? Maybe
No.
Was there a sink in front of you?
No, it was a guy, man. No, he was there. And then, he looked at me and he said, hey, man, you have you heard of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? And I said, yeah, man. And he was like, okay. And I said, hey, man, you want to buy some pot from me? And he was like, I have to talk to your manager now, man. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh shit. That wasn't Sherwin Williams, was it?
I don't think so, man.
Okay.
No,
Because he's here today. We're
going
to be talking to him later.
He bought some pot from me earlier. Don't tell anybody, okay? But listen,
No, so between you and me.
But hey, listen, if anybody comes looking for me, you don't know where I'm at, okay?
I mean, I usually don't, so that's no problem. Yeah.
Right. Well, okay. I'm gonna go now. You
okay, bro? Real quick, did you bring? You got your good sponges? Are you sure we don't need to get some sponges for you? You got the ones that you want?
Oh yeah, no, I got the good ones. They got they got the little scrubby brush on them on the back of them. They're really good. They're made by those Brillo guys or whatever. You ever seen those?
Yeah,
those are good sponges, man.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, you put some bleaching on them, and they're pretty good. Yeah. You gotta watch when you use bleach though, because it'll get on your clothes, man, and it'll mess them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hey, do you have any butterfly knives for sale? I'm trying to find some of those since, you can't, just carry a switchblade around with you and stuff,
I mean, you should ask Justin, because Justin looks like a guy who has some butterfly knives.
Yeah, he keeps hiding from me, but that's okay. I'll find him.
Yeah.
I always do. All right. Well, I'm gonna go do something. Hey, there's a guy just like laying around here sometimes. Like I don't know what to do with him. Like, do I clean him too, or like do I gotta clean around him?
That's Morgan, the stage director.
Okay.
If he's dead on the floor, just work around him. He'll be back up in a while. Usually if you leave the room and then come back after a little bit, he'll be fine.
Oh, okay, man. Well, thank you. I'll see you later. I love you. Goodbye.
Love you too, Abramo. We'll talk later. Bye.
Oh, hey, how did that go? I'm sorry. He's hard to talk to sometimes, Abramo.
You saw him coming and you stuck me with him.
No, never. No, never. I would never do that. Absolutely not.
I'm just glad that he actually. I wasn't sure if he was actually going to take.
He's
the
a good worker. He's a good worker.
I'll probably on break. I'll go to the restroom and I'll check it out, see how it looks. Yeah. Still not entirely convinced that he wasn't talking to his own reflection in the mirror, but you never know.
You really don't, honestly. You really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well.
Okay.
Anyway, where were we at in the show? I'm sorry.
I don't even remember. I think I was going to ask you like what you'd been up to.
Oh, right. That makes sense. Well, let's see. I've been doing, I've been playing a lot of video games actually.
I got to check out the majority of your stream last week. Well, I've been checking out your stream, but I actually made a profile this time.
You did. It was bizarre when I was like, oh, Julian's actually here and commenting. This is kind of nice.
Yeah. Just right off the bat, like I know you're going to talk about him, but like, man, Metal Slug Tactics could not have disappointed me anymore.
Man, it was kind of a bummer. Yeah,
I was watching you and I was like, man, this animation is nice, the graphics are nice, but like everything that I'm seeing is like turning me off of this game in such a fundamental way.
Yeah, it was very much designed as like a roguelite type thing.
Punishment and all.
Yeah, I think it doesn't like to explain what you need to do very well sometimes too, because like I think you've seen it on there where I got in a fight and then it was like, you got to kill these guys. I was like, what guys? Just all of them? Okay, I'll do that. But then people kept dropping in. I was like, oh well, this sucks. I guess it's just like a survival thing. But it's like, no, you just have to kill these guys with arrows over their heads. I was like, that would have been nice to know. I didn't know that's actually who I was supposed to kill. Okay.
Seems like there's a bit of like a puzzle battle element to it also, where it's like they want you to be like using the environment to like save on turns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like I'm notoriously bad about picking that stuff out of the environment and remembering to use it.
Like there was like one battle where there was like a mortar or something that was going off, and like it would tell you is like, this is coming down in 1 or 2 turns. It was like, okay, that's okay, well, I'll get out of the way of it. Usually that's the gimmick, is like, yeah, just don't be in this tile when the turn ends. No big deal. But this one, it was just like, no, it's just going to follow you, and now it's going to get worse. I was like, okay, well, is there a place to get out of the way of it? No, just eat it. Okay, great. If there was, I couldn't figure it out. So I was not a big fan of it either. Which is kind of a bummer. They also released that other like tower defense game, and I was like, I couldn't care less about this. I don't know what it is about it.
Yeah.
I didn't play it.
I like the idea of taking a well-worn franchise and doing something new with it.
I do too.
And Metal Slug Tactics sounds like a home run for me.
On paper, that's such a good idea. On paper, that's such a great idea. I think it might just. I feel like if I seen that game for like half off, I'd be like, you know what? Why not? Like, I could maybe play it a couple times and be like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll come around to it next time. But like, I think I'm kind of curious how much that they want to charge you for that game.
And it's entirely like, if it gets like incredible reviews and it's like a must play, then I'll take a look.
Right.
But like what I saw of what you played, I was not enthused.
Well, they don't want to tell you how much it's going to cost, so that worries me right off the bat.
Right.
But if
it's more than 40, I'm out.
I doubt it'd be that. What is the other Metal Slug game? How much is that one? I feel like that one's fairly cheap.
Yeah, it's weird that they announced and released the tower defense one like on the same day.
Well, I think that one was what was it? I think that one, Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. That one's only $10, so
okay,
that's not too bad.
Man, remember when games came out for $10?
Yeah,
like on Xbox Live, that was nice.
Yeah, well, they do it on Steam sometimes too, but yeah, that to me for that thing is the right price point. I feel like this exact thing was like a mobile game or something that they ported over.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because it's called Metal Slug Attack Reloaded, so that implies that it came out at some point. That's just my guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I played that.
That was one thing that I wanted to try to do for the last episode was do an impression of Nintendo Direct voice guy, because it annoys me so much. Like Nintendo Direct guy, I can't stand him.
Like the voiceover for like the guy, the main guy?
No, the one that does the intro to each of the games. Like, this legendary franchise is coming back.
Fall into a world of paradise in this that guy.
You got it. You got it.
I know.
One.
I know that guy. I mock that guy all the time.
Yeah. It's especially funny when he's trying to introduce a game that's actually like M-rated or something like that, and he tries to be like a little more serious. He tries to get
dark. Yeah. And it's kind of hilarious. It's not good at all. Yeah, no. Rivers of blood will cover the earth if you don't help stop them in this next upcoming action RPG. You're like, shut up, man. Just fucking shut up. But yeah, at the same time, I find we could talk about the stupid Nintendo Direct. I don't know if either of us have much to say about it.
Takeaways. It's cool that they announced like a couple new games, because it has felt like you know, they're running out of steam for the Switch. Like a new Mario and Luigi, that game looks really good.
It's neat. Yeah.
Like the thing about the Nintendo stuff is that I get excited when they announce the stuff. And then when the time comes and the game releases, I'm like, I don't got time or money for that. And so then I just don't pick it up. So like I didn't pick up Mario RPG Remake. I didn't pick up Paper Mario. I didn't pick up Princess Peach, even though I wanted all of those. Right?
I completely forgot Princess Peach came out.
It didn't get the amount of fanfare that I expected it to.
Yeah, I usually I like hear about a lot, like when something like that drops, but like I barely heard about it until I like thought about it one day because I was looking for things to buy my niece for her birthday, and I was like, wasn't that supposed to come out? Did that come out? So I looked it up and I was like, no, it did. I'm gonna buy that for him. Which that was a game they wanted. So I was like, cool, I'm doing a good job.
I will definitely pick up that Legend of Zelda game.
That one looks cool too.
One, I'm always for a return to the overhead style. Two, it's about damn time that they give Zelda an actual Nintendo-made Zelda game, not the CDI crap. I do take issue with the fact that she can't like defend herself directly. Yeah, like that's like that. It kind of harkens back to me to like Princess Peach's first game on the DS, where it's like, oh, she's got emotional issues that you use for your power ups, and it's like, why couldn't you just let her jump on the enemies like Mario? I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah,
here.
It's always weird when they do it in other, like they can fight in other games, but not in this one. Like,
yeah, I just assumed that like, oh, she's going to turn into Sheik or something like that.
She's done this in other games. It's fine. Yeah. She can do things. She's capable. Like, just do that. It'll be all right. It's weird.
But I do like the idea of summoning a fucking table and then just like conking a goblin over the head.
It's an entertaining premise. I definitely am not going to play that game because it looks just super puzzly. I'm just like, oh yeah,
it does look a lot more puzzly than your average.
Like, I'm good. I'm out. But like but it's cool that it exists. I like that it exists.
But all of that pales in comparison to the Megaton announcement.
Yeah.
Which is fucking MVC like collection.
Right. You goddamn
Holy
right.
Shit.
That was the only thing. I marked the fuck out for that. I was like,
I did too. Right. And this is like a weird one also, but it's because I've never played it. Putting the fucking Punisher arcade game in there, like that is awesome, dude. I'm so stoked. I was watching it with Nextlander, and they're just kind of like blasé talking over. I'm like, how are you guys not freaking the fuck out right now? Like this shouldn't even be possible.
I know. It was awesome. What's funny is you weren't alone. Like, I was at work, and my friend's a big comic book guy, and it was funny. We were that week, or the week before maybe. He was telling me, he's like, yeah, I have a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I think it was for, what was it? It was can't remember what system he had it for. It was either PlayStation 2 or which I think was the bigger one, but it was one of the things that came out for it. Doesn't matter. Wasn't Dreamcast. That was a good one. But I remember I was like, man, I'm like this tempted to just offer you whatever the hell it's worth right now because I really want a copy of that game. He was like, no, absolutely not. I will not sell that one. And I was like, I get it. And I was just like, we were just walking around, and then that comes out, and I'm like while we're at work, and I'm like, dude, they just fucking announced a fucking collection with all the Marvel versus Capcom, Marvel superheroes fighting games. He was like, holy shit. And like, we're watching the trailer. He's like, and then it gets to the Punisher thing. He's like, I don't like to pay. He buys everything on sale. Like, he will wait years to buy a game. And he was like,
this is one you shouldn't wait on.
I will pay $60 for that. I don't even care. Like, I was like, whatever you want, just take my money. I'm down. I'm
most excited to get to replay X-Men, X-Men Children of the Atom and Marvel vs. Street Fighter, because I feel that those are the two that are kind of lost to time where people never talk about them. Because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in particular kind of like took all of the the air out of the room for the rest of those games. But like, I played more of those games. So, and X-Men versus Street Fighter, obviously, like, but I think that one, especially because of the Saturn port, like for people who imported it, like, like that one got a lot more attention, but yeah, it's kind of those like dark horse ones that, cause there would be times where I'd be like, there was a Marvel versus Street Fighter, right? I'm not imagining that.
Yeah.
Because like then Marvel versus Capcom came out and it felt like it obliterated the existence of Marvel versus
pretty
Street
much.
Fighter.
And it came out like pretty shortly after it too. Like those games.
Yeah,
like,
these all came out in a pretty short span of time.
They did. And then it kind of culminated with 2, and then they just kind of took a break for a long time, and then eventually made 3. But
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the big one for me. There's also that like Danganronpa one that from the makers of that looked interesting.
Yeah, I was glad that I was able to like actually spot. I was too. Looks like a Danganronpa, but like the theme isn't.
I kept saying it too. I was like, this looks like a Danganronpa game, but I don't know if it is. And I was like, are they just aping the style? Because there's been like some newer games that have been like around on like Steam, if you know where to look, that ape the style of that. And I was wondering if that was like something like that, but then they said it was. I was like, okay, cool.
It feels very much like the Danganronpa team doing their take on 13 Sentinels.
Yeah. It seems neat. Neat. But if it's on Switch, I will wait for it to come out for an actual thing.
And that's the thing is like, when you have these like company specific showcases, like, right. But then wait for the announcement. And it's usually like an hour later where it's like, oh, it's coming out to everything. And they just debuted it here. So like the MVC collection, like that's on everything.
Right.
And it is supposed to be getting like a physical copy. Well, physical copy at least on Switch, but I want that on a PlayStation because I associate those games with PlayStation ports.
I associate them with
Saturn,
the Dreamcast.
Well, yes. Yeah. I don't know if I actually bought Marvel versus Capcom. I think I bought the first one on Dreamcast, but not the second one.
I definitely had the second one. I'm not sure if I had the first one at all.
I'm actually not as big a fan of the second one. I know that's like heresy.
One. No, I get it. It's fine.
I think it was a little bit too like kind of overstuffed.
I could see that.
Feeling.
I could see that. Yeah. I think I just played it for hours and hours. Yeah. Like I just sat there and played that game for ever.
You needed to play it for hours and hours to get all the characters. Yeah. That was in the day when you were still having to like play the game to unlock
which
stuff.
I think is why I have such fond memory. I used to love that about fighting games, was sitting there and, beating it over and over again to get all the characters and like being like, oh, who am I going to get next? That was like one of my favorite parts of Soul Calibur and like in Tekken and stuff like that. Those games used to do that.
Yeah.
Now I get why they don't do it anymore, but like because tournaments and stuff like that, so it's just mostly and plus DLC,
right?
So we have to make money off these fucking characters. I get it, but I miss that. I'm kind of hoping that you still have to do that for those games, though. I'm like,
I would imagine you would have to.
I would love that. Because that was like my favorite. That would be a fun trip down memory lane to sit there and unlock all the characters again for me.
I guess it depends, because I don't remember how different the home ports were to the arcade ports, because that was one thing that was the big bummer for me for the last Street Fighter collection that I bought, which is it's the arcade version of Street Fighter Alpha 3, which means it's missing some of my favorite characters from the PlayStation version of Alpha 3. DJ, Balrog, Guile, like those were like some of my main characters on PlayStation.
Yeah, that makes sense. Other than that, I mean, they showed Metroid.
Man,
you have the same reaction I had, where I was just like, I was like,
okay, it still exists. I don't know what it is. So I loved Metroid Prime. Like I was so into Metroid Prime, and then I don't know what it is about Metroid Prime and like 2 and 3 where I just could not care less. And Metroid Prime 4 is kind of the same way, even though it's been this long. Like I saw it and I was like, yeah, that sure does look like a Metroid Prime. I don't know what I was expecting.
I think as a one-off, Metroid Prime works. And people are going to get really pissed off at me. I don't really care. I don't really care about the Prime series, period. I'll put that out there. Like,
you don't really care about the Metroid series, period.
I really don't care about it. It's just not my thing. I think I like Samus's design and like that stuff. It's all cool. I like that stuff. But like, as for playing it, I don't really care. But so as an outside observer, I think the Prime series works as like a one-off thing really well, where it's like, hey, this is like a first-person Metroid, and you're going to do all this stuff. And then you have to kind of expand the concept. And I don't know how much, 2 and 3 do in way of doing that, like how far they push the envelope. But I imagine like you're going to have limited, diminishing returns, as it were, from that kind of thing. And now, especially as the rest of the industry gets caught up to where you were, because when that game came out, it was, a Nintendo first-person shooter. That was like kind of a new, big deal, new thing for them.
Yeah, that also was able to retain like the platforming and exploration feel of the old games.
They did really
that was
good with
impressive.
That. Yeah, it really was. But like as the industry like starts to catch up to that and be able to do that, and we have more stuff like that, it kind of is a little underwhelming to me. So when you get to 4, and it looks like barely a PlayStation
like
4
1, 2,
game.
and 3.
Yeah, it kind of like even if that is like your straddling game where like that's going to come out on the new console and the old one too, like because I could definitely see that being that. It I don't know. There's something about it. I was looking at it, I was like, this doesn't look all that great, and like I've seen other games do a lot of the stuff that they're doing. I mean, it's I guess it's nostalgic in a way. I don't really care about Metroid, and this isn't making me care about it. I don't know how you push a Prime to like the next level.
Yeah. I'm still here waiting for my third person behind the back Metroid game.
If they would have done that, I'd been like, oh, okay, this looks cool. I'm in. Like that's where I feel like you need. I almost feel like you just like Prime dies at 3, and then we go, hey, here's the new cool Metroid spin-off thing that we're going to do for a little while with this thing.
Not even a spin-off.
Let's
do a sequel to Metroid Fusion that actually like advances the story and has her still in it. Well, I guess Dread did that now that I think about it.
I was going to say, even if it's just like a brand new thing, like, hey, this is like, our new gimmick and our new thing that we're going to try out and really innovate and try to do some cool stuff with the series and take it in this direction. And it'll still be, in the universe and all that stuff. Yeah. That would be awesome. Like, there's a lot of ways they could go, but they just kind of, no, but Metro Prime, though, it's like, I guess.
And it'll, well,
it will.
I mean,
it'll sell well. It'll do great, I'm sure.
I mean, it'll sell
adequate.
It'll sell decent. Yeah, because that's the thing,
adequate.
Right? The series has never.
Yeah.
It has always sold adequate. I think Dread has been the highest selling of the franchise, and that one actually did better than I expected it to.
Yeah.
And Prime, it's catching in on 20 years of nostalgia, so it should do fine.
Should do fine. Yeah.
And I'll pick it up because I'll have to know.
Yeah.
Simply because like I haven't played one since the first one, so it'll almost be like. At least I've got that going for me. Is that like, well, I didn't burn myself out on 2 and 3, even though they were almost 20 years ago.
I feel like they almost shot themselves in the foot when they, were like, no, we're still making it. We promise we're still making Metroid Prime 4. It was just like, it was almost like, well, now you kind of missed your chance to like taking it in a new direction by just promising over and over that you're going to make it. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. Indeed.
It was I had actually forgotten that it was at the show, honestly.
It was their big thing. That was their end of show thing. So
yeah, and I think from Nintendo themselves, like I think the Zelda thing was much more exciting. Because it's something we've never actually seen that most people have been wanting for a long time.
Yeah,
and then but then Marvel though. Like,
I'm sorry, you weren't excited about the Romancing Saga 2 remake, Julian?
It looks nice. I was just like, I've never heard of this fucking game in my life, and they're remaking it. All right, sure, why not? That series is so convoluted in the West because we got some of them that were rebranded as the Final Fantasy games on Game Boy.
Okay, all right.
And then others didn't make it to the West until way later, and so this might be one of the ones that was released on like PS4 digitally, and now they're remaking it. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard
it's hard to keep track of.
Yeah, I've heard the name Romancing Saga. It has the font of like the Saga Frontier stuff. Well,
so Romancing Saga was what it preceded the Saga Frontier games.
Gotcha.
It went. I think it went because I think it was Romancing Saga from the beginning.
Okay,
and then it was Saga Frontier. And then it's now just like the Saga series is kind of what it's known as a whole.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's weird because there's also I think they announced like there's a collection of the Game Boy games that's being remade for
Why
the
not?
Switch, but it's called like, I think it's called like, it's either Romancing Saga Final Fantasy Legend, or it's Final Fantasy Legend Saga something.
Right.
Like they tried to like, solidify it for, to like make people realize that these aren't actually Final Fantasy games, but that's what people remember them as.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. And I'm still waiting for that one that was announced like last year or so. I don't even remember the name of it, but like, we were talking about it like a while ago, like, cause it had like some really interesting character designs, and it is part of the Saga series, but I don't remember the name of it. I don't know when it's coming out. Square Enix is really bad about marketing their games, so who knows? Like for all I know, it already came out and it flopped.
Hard to say. Yeah.
I don't think it has though.
I guess the other big thing for all of you guys was the Dragon Quest stuff.
Oh yeah.
That was a big thing for people.
So it was really cool that like they confirmed that it's still coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It was even cooler that they said yes, and we're also doing 1 and 2.
Yeah,
and then Yuji Horii was like, "We're releasing it this way because chronologically 3 is the first one, and then you play 1 and 2.
Yeah,
and we think that you'll get a lot more out of it if you play them in this order."
Okay.
And then I went to go pre-order the physical version on PS5, and I was like, $60, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I'll eat that.
Yeah.
Seems like it should probably be $60 for all 3 of them, but like.
Well, they remade them, Julian.
Yeah. I mean, I should be thankful that I was actually able to get a copy.
That is true.
Unlike Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection, where they're like, we only made like 2,000. We were surprised when they sold out, and then later on complained that the game didn't sell very many copies. And it's like, you motherfuckers!
Pixel Remaster walked so that Dragon Quest Remake could run. All right,
that's right.
But
and apparently Dragon Quest 3 is really where the series comes into its own.
That's what I've always heard.
Introduces the job system for the first time.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard.
Oddly enough, also, 3 is Final Fantasy is where they introduce their job system. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I think they came out close enough together where they weren't aping each other.
Okay.
I think they just had like the right idea at the same time.
Right.
I could be wrong about that.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm happy for Dragon Quest fans. I seen it was like, it looks like it wishes it was Octopath Traveler. Moving on.
I mean, that's a good way to reconceptualize those games.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
you're talking about remaking an NES game.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, I'm like, but it just didn't look as good as one of those.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to see more of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It like there was something when it might have been the resolution or whatever, but I was just like looking at it like it just doesn't quite look as good as one of those does, and I know that's what they're going for because that HD 2D thing they put it right on the box. Yeah, I'm like okay,
hence
you're going.
I'm getting the
that.
PlayStation 5 version,
and I'm like, but you're going for that. I'm like, it just doesn't quite look as good as those, and I think you got rid of the studios that made those, so let's see how that goes. I don't know.
Yeah. Other quick thing that was announced since we recorded last, it was actually just announced yesterday. They did confirm the Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary remaster. Which, okay.
That's cool.
I'm hoping, like, it looks really nice. Like, they did a lot of work on the graphics, but also I'm hoping that they allow you to fix the camera settings, because that was my problem with the HD release on Xbox 360 is that you could invert the look, but it would also invert the left and right, which is like, it made it unplayable.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously that's how I did it back in the day, but I don't know how I did it back in the day.
Right.
But I can't do it animour. So hopefully they fix that. But, just had me thinking about like other great 2003 games that nobody bought.
Right.
Cause like nobody bought Beyond Good and Evil. Nobody bought Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
But they're people beloved.
They are.
By the people that played them, they love them. Yeah.
But at least people know those games where it's like,
they do. I
can mention iNinja or Sphinx and the Cursed Temple or Metal Arms Glitch in the System, and very few people are going to be like, oh, I know those games.
Right. Yeah.
Freedom Force by IO. That was also 2003. And like
Freedom Force, was that the Oh man, I gotta look at that. I think
it's a 4-player squad, revolution type game.
Yeah,
I think
I
America
remember
gets
that
taken
game.
over.
I do remember Freedom Force, believe it or not.
It's cool. And I think they did retain the rights to it from EA finally.
Yeah, they keep people keep trying to get them to bring that one back.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another game on Steam called Freedom Force, which seems like infringement. But what am I going to do about it? You know, what do I know? Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Are you sure it was called Freedom Force? That doesn't sound like the right name.
Maybe Freedom Fighters. Is Freedom Force the one with the superheroes? Do I always get those mixed up? Is that what you were seeing?
Yeah. I think it's Freedom Fighters. Hold on. I'll just type in IO after it. Freedom Fighters IO Interactive. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's Freedom.
Okay.
It's Freedom Fighters.
I always do that.
Yeah.
Freedom Force is that, I think, strategy RPG with superhero.
Yeah, the more I
Jack Kirby looking superheroes.
Yes, the more I started scrolling down, I was like, okay, no, this seems like it's actually a thing. I don't think this is what I'm. No, I think you got the wrong name. Yeah. Freedom Fighters is the name of it. Glad we corrected that. People would have been up in arms, Julian.
9 out of 10 on Steam. People love that game.
People like it.
Yeah. It was neat.
Yeah,
it was neat.
In a bit of bummer news, do you remember that game that I was looking forward to? That was the Sims. They were going to try to take a stab at the Sims. They not only canceled that game. Remember, it had a release date.
Yeah, and then it got pushed to no release date.
To no release date. Then now it's canceled.
Okay.
And then they a day later they fired everyone in the studio and shut it down. I was like, oh Jesus God, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
That bummed. I was like, well, that's a bummer.
Yeah. So someone should take a stab at a hyper realistic Sims type game. There are two. There's one that's stylized called Paralibes that's supposed to come out in 2025. That's like an indie thing. They've been working on that for years now. Every time I see more of it, it looks better than the last time I seen it. So that one looks pretty promising. That one honestly looked more promising than the one that I was looking forward to. And then there's a Korean one too that I think is made by Nexon or somebody like that. It's definitely a Korean studio. Because I want to know what they're eating in Korea that's making their graphics look so good on their games. Because everything that comes out of a Korean studio looks way better than a lot of stuff coming out, and it's by someone you've never heard of that's never made a game before, and I don't understand. It's
it's Inzoi. That's the name of the game, which is a awful name.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you gonna do?
That's where a publisher would come in handy and say, "Hey, if you want to release this in the West, you need to have a more approachable name."
Yeah, right.
For a sim game, I get that for a more esoteric action game or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know why I clicked on a Reddit post and just the top comment is it looks like Sims with Black Desert graphics. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the whole
sounds
thing.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. It looked kind of cool.
What's the jiggle situation looking like?
I don't know. I'd have to play the trailer, and I don't really feel like doing it. I've seen it before. But yeah, Inzoi, if I remember, it looked really good when I seen the trailer. I mean, it's very Korean. Very Korean. Just the characters, just everything they show you is no, this looks like it is in The Sims in Korea. It's kind of wild. But yeah. Oh, my dog is upset.
Dog is upset.
Dog is upset. What are you gonna do? Now they're not upset. All right. Well,
you're the man now, dog.
Yeah. Anyway,
you remember that website?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe I do. What was it about?
YTMND.com. I think it's still up. It was kind of like the meme. The meme website before we were really calling them that.
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay. That I remember you're the man now, dog. I know the saying, but I don't remember. I don't know.
It's fine.
I'm bad with popular memes because I don't usually find most of them funny, so I skip over them a lot of the time.
Well, these were popular memes 20 years ago, so
I know, even worse. So yeah. But anyway, do you want to talk about video games, or you want me to talk about them? I don't care.
I'll talk about one new thing that I tried, which was a demo that was released on PlayStation. It's probably on PC also, called Enotria: The Last Song.
Yes.
You listeners might remember this. It was shown at the Sony showcase before Summer Game Fest week. And it is very much a like Souls-like, death action RPG type thing. But this one had like the interesting part where the main character goes to fight a boss and beats the boss, and then the boss's mask is left over, and he puts the boss's mask on and assumes that boss's persona. And so when the boss's guards come to see what the scuttlebutt is, they salute the main character because they think it's the guy that's in charge. Yeah. So it is very much one of those. It is Italian as fuck.
Okay.
Like,
dope.
Some of the items that you get is like perfect pesto. There's like, I forget what one of the, there was like some minestrone or something that was like a consumable.
Yeah.
I want to say there's almost like a Pinocchio vibe, but like they already did that with Lies of P, so I don't think that's what they're going for.
Right.
But you play a character called the Maskless One. And I think right off the bat, you're going to be out on this one, Justin, because you can't, at least in the demo, you can't create your character because your character doesn't have a face.
Right. Okay. Well,
because your character is maskless. And but what you do is, so it's got a lot of the hallmarks of these games, right? So you've got a dodge roll, you've got a parry, you've got a stamina bar, there's a poise meter on the enemies, all that type of stuff that you've seen it before. But there are like a lot of new mechanics that are pretty interesting. One of which is the mask system, where you'll pick up masks that like they drop off of enemies. And you can actually save up to 3 mask loadouts at a time, which I really like. So you can switch between 3 entirely different loadouts on the fly. And then you can change like those loadouts at like the rest spots. But that allows you to really change things up and not have to, I mean, you can change up your build, you can change up your equipment in like an Elden Ring, but you're gonna be fiddling in the menus a lot. Where here it's like, no, you can have like, I want these 2 weapons equipped, I want these spells equipped, I want these like accessories equipped, and then just hit a button and there you go. And the masks actually give you like different properties that will augment, the benefits of certain weapons or abilities and stuff like that. The parry window feels perfect for me. It's like just wide enough, which is probably too wide for most of you assholes.
I see.
But like, but it's where I want it to be, where it's like, I'm not parrying everything, but I am parrying enough to where it feels good.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is the game feels good.
Right. The what's that stupid game called? I already forgot it. I played it this year. It was the Samurai, Rise of the Ronin, timing. That's about where it was for me anyway, where I was like, I'm not getting this every time, but when I do it, it feels pretty good.
Yes.
So yeah.
It's, aesthetic wise, it's like, at least in the opening area, I played for about half an hour. And like it's kind of got like this weird, like these like kind of rolling like wheat field type vibe with like villages around, but like the villagers are all hostile to you. But yeah, it feels really good. And I feel bad for it coming out in the year that Shadow of the Erdtree comes out, because I think that's going to take all the oxygen out of the room for any games like this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But at the same time, this one's coming out for $50.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm not sure exactly when it's coming out. It is this year. But I think it's one that people should take a look at, because I think it's a really good one of these, and I'm very intrigued. And the only reason I stopped playing the demo is because I had other things to do, but like I wanted to play more, and that's a good sign.
Release date on Steam says September 18th.
Okay. That might be enough time to get it like away from Shadow of the Erdtree for most people.
I got it confused with a game that's in early access right now that looked pretty cool to me. It is called Songs of Silence. There are a lot of songs songs being played. I don't know. I just like the art style reminds me of I always forget the name of this game, and I played through the whole first one. It's that like it's like a Viking game. It's an older but it was a tactics game.
Tactics.
Oh god, that's gonna be a tough one to remember. But the look of it was like it was it almost looked like it was like a Saturday morning cartoon, but like much more serious. Fuck, what the hell was that?
Oh, Bannerlord Saga.
Banner Saga, that's the one.
Saga.
It kind of looks like Banner Saga, but like it has like it almost seems like it has like some sort of I don't know. Looks like it has a lot going on. I just like the art style of it, and it looks like a very me game. So I'm kind of curious. I should download the demo. Actually, it's right there. Yeah. Maybe I will. I'll leave that up.
Enotria, is like it's not going to like blow anybody away by, it's definitely going for a Souls look. Although, in that first area, it was a much more like, it was a brighter area than you would expect from these types of games, which was a nice change.
Look beautiful of it though. So
yeah, it's cool. Again, demo is available on definitely on PlayStation for sure. Probably also on Xbox and Steam, I would imagine. Yeah. But I highly recommend checking it out. I think it feels real fun to play, and I think the whole mask system is really interesting. And just in the half hour that I played, I got I think 3 masks and four new weapons, and I was like, that's a lot to play with. All just right. And I don't know if that's because it's the demo. I don't know if they have that stuff drop so you can play around with it. It almost felt like stuff was dropping a little too fast for my taste.
Yeah.
But if you have 3 loadouts that you can have, you want to be able to play around with those loadouts. So it kind of makes sense to have that stuff dropping.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what else did I do? Let's see. I got to remember. I have it all written down. It's a long list of stuff, actually. Let's see more. I'll just go through the stuff I played on stream really quick. Because most of that's played a game called Of the Devil. That was it seemed neat. I don't think I'm going to play it again, but it seemed neat. I love the idea of it, which is kind of you're playing a defense lawyer who is trying to get people out of committing, being charged with murder. But even
was this the one with that Western weird, Danganronpa style that I really wasn't a fan of?
Really weird art style. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That game to me, I can get past the art style. That doesn't bother me. I like the presentation of it. I like kind of the basic idea. The core premise of it is why I was like, I want to try this. That sounds really up my alley. I think the problem with the game itself is it does a little, by a little I mean probably way too much world building before anything ever happens.
Right.
I was I get it. You made a lot of details on what you want the world to be. I don't care yet. Let me get there. And I think that's one of those things that more amateur writer. I'm not calling this person amateur or anything like that. But more kind of what I would call an amateur writing mistake, where people were but I built all this cool stuff in this world and I just want to tell you how it works. It's yeah, but make me care about that first and then sneak that stuff in. And then that's what builds upon that.
Hell, Final Fantasy 13 has that problem, and that was made by people who've been working on games for years.
A lot of games do. And it's just a thing. When it's one of those show don't tell things, we'll all see it, but show the story and get there, naturally. And then all the little details, will add up for that. And I think that's that game's biggest problem. But I got to a murder scene, and by the time I got there, I was so overwhelmed and exhausted by just the sheer number of shit it was trying to tell me and show me all about. I was just like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care. So that was Of the Devil. It's neat though. So, you know, if the core premise sounds good and you can get past some of the stuff I'm complaining about, then by all means check it out.
Yeah. Some people really love, like, you know, lore heavy, like,
yes,
you know, stuff, right?
The writing is going for like a very noir style, and I'm kind of picky about my noir. Like I love noir. Like I really do. Like it's one of my favorite styles of just anything, but you got to hit it right. You got to hit it right. And it just doesn't quite get there for me. There's something about it. Let's see. The other ones I played on. So you talk about Metal Slug Tactics. Don't really have anything else for that. I played the Crush House. It bugged the fuck out on me, and I turned it off.
Crush House did not like being played.
Oh no, it did not. It also
seemed just. I don't even know what the word is right now. Like, it
seemed really stupid, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. Like, I was like, I hope this is really stupid and dumb.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. Which I was kind of hoping for. I was kind of hoping for something really, really dumb, because just dumb reality show stuff would have been funny to me. Mm-hmm. And I was hoping for that, but like. So Nextlander also played it, which I was surprised at. I was like, other people are playing this demo. I thought I was the only idiot who was like, maybe this will be good. But they played it and it worked for them. It worked perfectly fine. Like the scene that it just seemingly skips for me. There's a scene where like, it's like, okay, hey, now film all these people as they come into the house. And then it just like skipped the scene. And I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, that was really weird. I thought it was a demo thing. I was like, that's kind of jarring. I wish it would have let me do it. It let Nextlander do it. I was like, it bugged out on me hard if it did that. Because as soon as I got past that and went into a menu, it doesn't pick it up in the stream, but like, I click on something and it just like fatal errors out on the screen. Like, it's like, this formatting's all wrong and it's bad. And like, I try to unpause it and like, you can hear the game going on, but nothing's doing it. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's it for that game. Nope, done. I don't want to play it anymore. That's the Crush House. I think it even bugged out on Nextlander eventually, like as they went, but I can't remember fully. So it seems like it needs a little bit more time to cook that one. And then, let's see. Yars Rising was the other one I played. And this one was kind of neat.
That looked cool.
It was pretty neat. I
didn't like the original reveal of it. I wasn't really digging the art style. But it did grow on me after a little bit.
I still not 100% sure if I am.
But big announcement. Soundtrack being done by our very own Megan McDuffie, who does the music for the stage select. That was cool to see.
Yeah. She's doing that. And like the music's great. Like I would buy that game just straight up for the music. And I'm like, just from what I heard on the demo, I was like, this music's great. I'm here for this. I think a lot of the characters that I was meeting were kind of boring. The main character was kind of fun. Like they were kind of the way forward protagonist to a T. Like they were very River City girls to me. Like it's just like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like got it.
I really appreciate that the hacking mini game is Yars Revenge.
It's Yars Revenge. I was like, that's brilliant. Actually, that's awesome. Perfect. No notes. That was really good. It's actually the other stuff around it that I was like, I'm kind of hit or miss on this stuff. Just because like it doesn't play badly, but it doesn't play great either. It's kind of just like a shell to have you get to the neat hacking mini games that are Yars Revenge and stuff like that. Which the
characters seemed a little cringy. Like
that's what I mean. Like I like the main character enough, but everybody else is just kind of like either cringy or just boring. Like I was just like I couldn't make up my mind. But like it's the art style's fine. Playing it's okay. It's nothing you're gonna really write home about. And like they in the demo they transported me to like a boss fight. They're like, okay, after a little while you're gonna fight a boss. And I was like, and I kind of slowly figured out what to do. But the entire time I was doing it, I was like, yeah, this doesn't feel very good, especially for like the boss fight kind of exposes how it doesn't feel great to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. I'm kind of like
I
torn
couldn't
on
even
it.
really tell that, like, what. It didn't seem like you were damaging that boss, and I didn't know what you were supposed to do.
So you had to use, there was a thing that they give you to eat barriers or whatever. You had to get up close to it and use that. And then it would eat away at the barrier, and then you could shoot it, and then it would do its little sequence thing. It was, and like after you figure it out, it's kind of boring, and it's really, really touchy as to where the barrier has to be with, so you don't get hit while you're doing it, which is just kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seems neat. I'll definitely play it when it comes out. But it's definitely got some kinks in it. And then
what was that point and click game that you played where the character, it was like pixel art, but the characters didn't have like faces?
That is the one I'm getting to.
Okay.
That was Minds Beneath Us.
That one, like I mostly tuned out because I was like bored as fuck, and I had like my Elden Ring. I was working on my Elden Ring character while the stream was going, and then something happened, and I was like, oh. Yeah. And then I was in, but it took a while to get to that point for me.
There was a lot of setting up. So I had kind of knew a little bit of what it was because I had watched like previews of it and stuff like that. I was like, this game looks pretty fucking cool. Mm-hmm. I gotta know what it is. And so I'm like going through and the demo that I played had actually come out, I think, in December. When they did it a while ago, because there was like a new demo that I opted not to play because I was like, well, let me play the first one first, and then I'll get to the other one. Maybe or maybe not. I missed it the first time, so it's like, okay, let me play this one, and yeah, like slowly as it's going, I'm like, this is okay, and then it does a thing, and I was like, all right, this is very much my shit. Like, this is very much my shit. I have to know where this is gonna go. This is really cool. That's a cool game. It seems like one of those games, like the less you know about it, the cooler it might be. So
that's why we're dancing around the thing that happens. Cause
it's pretty dope. Like I enjoyed it.
Is it kind of a detective thingy?
I'm not 100% sure. Okay. I'll be honest with you.
Kind of near future also.
Yeah,
right?
it's definitely like more cyberpunk-ish kind of. Like that's the feeling I get. Like there's definitely some futuristic stuff ish going on. Mm-hmm. The one thing I think it needs work on, which I don't know if they will or not. You can definitely tell it's made by somebody who's a non-native English speaker. There are parts in like just dialogue period that are kind of like shoddily translated. I wouldn't call them shoddily translated. You always know what's going on. It's never like, oh my God, I have no idea what they're trying to say here.
It's just phrasing that Americans don't use.
Yes, it's a lot of phrasing. It's that type of thing. I'm like, this needs like a pass on the writing here and there. But
I love to see it though. I love to find it like where it's like, that's not a thing that people say.
Yeah. No, it is fun.
Today is football.
Fun. Today is football. Oh man, that's still great. I love that one. The best part about that line is they made somebody else read it. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, and the person is like, I mean, I guess I'll just read it as what's on the page.
That's what they did. Because who knows, right? Oh man, I love it. But anyway. But yeah, Minds Beneath Us is really cool. I cannot wait to see where that one goes.
Do you know if that's coming to anything besides PC? Or, I mean, it seemed like a very PC game.
Yeah, but I was playing it on a controller. So
you were?
It definitely could come out on anything. There is no release date yet for it. Because
probably a really small team.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. That one is on my radar.
Listeners, definitely go check it out on Steam, like wish listed so you don't forget about it. Because it it might not be, if you look at it initially, you might be like, but trust me, like that was me. And then like a thing happened. I was like, oh honestly, no, this looks like a must play.
The trailer for it is kind of like is exactly
gives you what you need.
It'll get you what you need. Like it's maybe not as effective as the demo, but like it shows you just enough like kind of cool shit going on there where I was like, oh, okay, I really want to see what this is all about. This looks cool.
Because the demo was a very slow burn.
Yeah.
But once it got to temperature, it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for what they were doing too. Like where they just like drop you in a situation and you're in the middle of it and you're kind of like, okay, what is actually happening here? What are we doing? And then eventually like it does a thing and you're like, oh, all right. This is cool. This is really cool. I'm a huge sucker for it. So yeah, I can't wait to play more of that one. Mine's Beneath Us. Keep an eye out. I can keep going if you want, Julian. I don't give a shit. Why not?
Yeah, I mean,
unless you got more.
Let me.
You want to go? Go ahead.
Hold on. Let's first off.
Okay.
Well, actually, you froze.
Oh, did I?
Well, now you're back.
Okay.
And I need to pee.
Okay.
So I'm going to go do that, and then we'll thank some patrons, and then I'll talk about a thing.
Okay.
Before we get back to your stuff.
Well, you know what? I'll go have a cigarette real quick. And you know what? No, I won't. Go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. Justin wants to talk to y'all.
Yeah. Hi. How are you doing? Now that he's gone, we can really rap. I like to say that. It's fun. Oh, man. Did you guys see the Kendrick Lamar concert where he came on and just dissed? He played Not Like Us like 6 times. That's good. We should all do that. We should all have our own Drake diss concerts. It'd be fun. I don't really have much to talk about. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like I did have. No, I got nothing. This is sad. This is really bad. Did you guys know that if you keep doing a southern accent, it'll just start to stick? Like it's kind of crazy. Like now I get it. I get why people have this problem now. Like they, the accent thing. Like if you just keep doing it that way, it starts to stick. It's really bad. I know I wrote a bunch of like weird stuff down at some point, but I don't remember what it was. Oh no, I didn't write it. Oh god. Oh, it's all failing. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, there is a way to save it. There is a way, but you know what? He's not here. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't tell him. Chill. That's right. It's time for the 311 minute. Don't tell him when we did it. He'll be like, "Oh, you guys forgot it," but then he'll listen, and he'll be like, "Oh, never mind. It was there the whole time." As you guys know, this is 311 fact. On 311archive.com, you can look at the section called Chad Sexton's Drum Corner and look at drum stuff. 311archive.com. Thank you. That was the 311 minute.
Oh, I didn't even get to hear it this time.
No, I was really hoping to do it before you got back, and now I'm disappointed in This is all their fault. Blame the listeners. It's all their fault.
Did you actually do a 311 minute, or were you about to do a 311
You know what?
minute?
We'll do it again. We'll just do it again for Julian because he.
Is this the same 311 minute?
It's the same 311 minute. Yeah, it's just.
I'm going to hear it in editing.
No, it's fine. You're going to hear it again now. Everybody's going to hear it again because you showed up. You ruined it. You did this.
I ruined everything.
You did. Plus, I tried to read it too fast. So, on 311archive.com, Julian, you can look at section called Chad Sexton's Drum Corner and look at drum stuff. You can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Chill. See, and then also I get to hit the button more times, so it's fine.
Yeah. Drum stuff sounds like it's a euphemism for something to me. I don't know why. It's weird.
Nope, it's not. It's just we look at drum stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, I think it's time to thank some patrons.
Okay.
We appreciate all of our lovely patrons, but every week we like to thank our executive producer tier. This week we have Xrian.
We have Matt Jorgensen. I got there just in time. This is good.
Nice.
Nailing it.
We have Dennis Robertson.
We have Philip P.K. Becker.
We have David Portnov.
We have Stephen Lobo.
We have Casey Curran.
We have Xavier Krager.
And we have Bookie. Shaking it up for y'all again.
You did.
Yes.
I noticed.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. Reminder that you still have about another week to vote over at patreon.com for the next Suffer Select. Right now, Uriel's Chasm is kind of running away with it. We do have a few votes for My Life Pet Vet, but we shall see.
The listeners know I'll enjoy that one too much. See, it's tough. They know. They're like, no, he can't. He'll have fun.
It's going to take the listeners, I think, a little bit to calibrate and understand what actually makes us suffer. Because
we were talking about this. Yeah.
Because we've had some suggestions that we will add to the list, but I think listeners they haven't figured out yet what pushes our buttons.
And that's what's going to be fun. That's what's going to be fun is I want it. I think where I want this thing to go is mostly listener suggestions and let's see if they can figure it out.
Right.
And we'll get there when we get there, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the first one was strong for me. I fucking hate a platformer. So I'm, it's pretty obvious, but Julian doesn't care. So
it just wasn't that bad, dude. Like,
see?
I
just hate platformers.
Yeah.
Period. Hate them.
Yeah. I could have finished that game.
Yeah. I know you could have. You went on for a lot longer than anyone needed to.
I expected you to play more of it, honestly.
Hell no. I feel like one rule we should definitely, unless the game isn't this long, is we definitely should have you have to play it for at least like X amount of time. I don't know what that time limit should be, but it definitely there should be a time limit probably.
Yeah, I think so too.
We'll put a vote up for that, Julian. Don't make it ridiculous.
I will say it seems like people really enjoyed that first episode of Suffer Select. I was a little worried that people were going to be disappointed because we only really talked about Panda Hero for about half an hour of that show because there wasn't much really to say. It wasn't that terrible.
Yeah.
But I can see episodes where we could go on for a while just because of how much we actually suffered.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
Yes. Speaking of suffering, actually.
Okay. All right.
I abandoned my Elden Ring expansion character that I was getting ready to go into the expansion with.
Okay.
I never could get this strength faith build to work the way that I wanted it to, even though I was working off of a build guide. Something wasn't clicking. And the tipping point was I got to a point in the game where basically what I needed to do was beat Morgott so that I could go past, into the land of the giants or the mountaintop of the giants.
Yes.
And beat Moog. And Morgott, when you're not using summons and you're just one-on-oneing him, is the perfect example of everything that I hate about From boss design.
Okay.
In the sense that he's got 5 weapons.
All right.
So he's got tons of attacks. He's super fast. He's dual wielding. None of the rules that apply to you apply to him. So he can just keep wailing on you with really little to no pause in between.
Yeah.
Where, I'm I've got 5 swings in me before I'm out of gas.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously he does insane damage and he's got area of effect stuff. He control, if we're talking about fighting game space, he kind of controls a ridiculous amount of space around him in a way that is really kind of unfair. And I'm sure that eventually I could kind of learn his patterns and stuff like that. But I'm not that good.
Yeah.
And now I did solo him.
Okay.
I got through that fight on my own, but at the end, it wasn't because I learned his moves and I got him down or anything like that. A lot of it was luck and also tweaking my talismans and coming up with a good defensive, defense versus offense type thing. So after I beat him, I was let me just go kill Moog. I don't want to keep I don't want to because Mountaintop of the Giants is end game. And that's another, and I'll talk about this in a second because I am going to talk about Shadow of the Erdtree here in a bit, but I wanted to talk about why I abandoned my character. And I ultimately ended up using my character from my platinum trophy run.
Yeah.
To get into the expansion. But I went to go fight Moog and it was ridiculous, dude.
Mm-hmm.
he was never a problem for me in my previous 2 playthroughs, but I think I also didn't fight him until I was like well past Mountaintop of the Giants.
That
like,
makes sense. Yeah.
Quite a bit higher level, probably close to maxed out weapons, spirit ashes, you know, good to go. 1-on-1, I was just getting wrecked.
Oh, he's nuts.
I started learning his pattern and stuff like that, but I just couldn't put in the damage, dude.
Right.
I never got him to his second phase once.
Oh, wow.
Because I just, like, I'm, like, wailing on him and, like, you know, being very cautious and everything, and it's just, like, it wasn't happening.
Right.
And I fought him probably, like, 10 plus times, and I was like, nah, you know what? Fuck it. Like, new plan, and I just like loaded my Red Sonja character, parked her in front of the Egg of Mikola, and said, "Okay, here we go. This is what we're doing."
Right.
I just gotta say, the idea of like restricting full game mechanics, you know, from your playthrough, I think is dumb. It didn't make me appreciate the game on a different level. It didn't make me learn the game any better.
Yeah.
All it meant was that I spent longer on bosses. And I had less fun.
I mean, this has been a thing too, where I'm just like, and the argument is that I'm always in favor of is like, yo, they designed a lot of that stuff with the summons and all that shit in mind.
I'm coming to that.
Yeah, like they really did. Like, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, no, this boss is like made for you, like you to have like the mimic tier out or whoever out, kind of like playing distraction so you can kind of catch your breath and then go back in, you know?
Yeah. Because like all the bosses, like they have attacks that trigger when you heal.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're the only target, like basically you've got to be like across the field from them before you can even try it.
Right.
And a lot of times, like, you know, if you're not in the right exact spot, you will get hit for the exact amount that you healed for and be right back where you started from. Like, it's bullshit.
Yes.
And yeah, so I had, you know, and let me clarify. I think that if you have played these games back to front and you've played them all and you know them cold and like, you know, you're like, you can't feel anymore, then sure, like
absolutely
go nuts.
There are people that style of play is absolutely for, you know.
Yeah, this is my first the first From game that I've played all the way through, right? And I can 100% say that I had far less fun on this solo character than I did on the previous 2 characters.
Yes.
To piggyback off of that, I had watched a really interesting video of, actually before I started this character, from someone who was responding to the whole, you know, you didn't play the game right type of thing, right? And he's like, okay, like no summons, no like no help, like no co-op, no spells. I'm just gonna do like a strength melee build, blah blah blah. And his conclusion was, yeah, I had less fun. And honestly, I think the game is designed around you using these things, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of built into it. And actually, the first big boss that I fought on Shadow of the Erdtree very much felt like this is like you should summon here. So I did start Shadow of the Erdtree last night as we're recording this. I played it for like a couple hours, like right as soon as it went live, and it was kind of funny because like I was steamrolling. I went into it terrified because I had seen like stuff from reviews where it's like, oh no, these enemies do like ridiculous damage, blah blah blah.
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
and they do. And Shadow of the Erdtree is also like displaying a lot of the things that I don't like about From's design.
Okay.
I will also say that at least for me, Shadow of the Erdtree does not make a good first impression. So one, I couldn't even tell if it was working because like I expected like the title screen to change. I expected like some sort of thing. Like I expected there to be like new trophies because usually when you have an expansion, there's like a new set of trophies.
Yeah.
There's not. And also because like I was like, okay, so it unlocks at 12 p.m. Eastern, right? So like that should be 11 p.m. my time, but no, actually Sony does it where it's like 12 p.m. in each region.
Oh yeah,
bullshit.
Yeah,
so I got on at 11, and I'm like, I can't do anything here. What the fuck? And I actually looked it up. They're like, oh, you just interact with the egg. And I'm like, I can't interact with the egg. And then I was like, oh, it's not midnight yet. So like I waited until like 10 after.
Right.
And then I zoned back in. It's like, oh, there's an NPC here now that I can talk to.
Of course, yeah.
That tells you to interact with the egg. And it's like, okay. But then it's just like a really blasé like zone change. Like there's no like cutscene. There's no thing that says like you're in like the Shadow Realm now or anything like that. Yeah. Like you're just in a hallway and then you walk forward and it's a very pretty vista and it's like a while before it says that like you've transitioned or anything like that. It's very weird.
Yeah.
And storytelling wise so far, it's also that thing where it's like, yo, I know that like From is known for this, you know, like they're very obtuse storytelling and stuff like that, but it's getting a little ridiculous because I'm like, where am I? When am I?
Yeah. Like
the only reason that I even know Miquella at all is because of lore videos, right? And everybody's talking about, oh, kind Miquella has like summoned us here. And it's like, where is here? Like where is this in relation to like the lands between? Like what's going on? You know, what am I doing here? I'm following in the footsteps of Tender Miquella. They've got like 5 names for it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, that style has just never been your thing. Yeah, I get
no, and
it's not.
So well, here's the thing, right? And I was thinking about this on that other character where, you know, when you go to the Radon Festival, like Jared gives you this really cool backstory about Radon, and it's this like really interesting cutscene. And I was like, that was really cool. Now I understand why this dumb giant is on this tiny horse. Right. You know, because like on its face, like if I just see a dumb giant on a tiny horse, I'm like, that's a really dumb design. Right. Like I don't know why I need to care about this character at all.
Right.
And I wish there was more of that in the game. Like even the final boss doesn't really have, it's just like, there's a small cutscene that shows the boss like kind of get ready to fight, and then you fight it, and there's not really anything about why you're fighting. You know what I mean? Like, I wish there was more of that type of. And I'm not saying that I need like, you know, Kojima levels of expedition dumps like before every boss fight, but a little introduction would be nice. Yeah. And you know, so far I've heard in one review that like there is more like explicit storytelling in Shadow of the Erdtree.
Probably, yeah.
That hasn't been my experience so far.
Yeah, well, you're not too far.
I'm pretty early. I'm about 5 hours in.
Yeah.
Now I will say, initially I was like, oh, these enemies are dying like in one swing. This is not what I was expecting. I will say I was glad that I did play that other character because it was a guard counter based build.
Okay.
And I decided to equip a shield because I was like, oh, I don't know what to expect here. And that's worked out really well because a lot of the enemies, it's like, I'll block the first hit, guard counter, it puts them into the crumple state, and then I get a critical hit off them and they're dead. Nice. That's been like almost every enemy that I've fought so far.
Right.
There's this asshole there's an asshole NPC just patrolling this one part of the forest that will wreck your shit. And it took me probably like 10 tries on him. You think he's an invader, but he's not. He's just an NPC, a named NPC that's walking around naked. And he's got fist weapons that will just, he's super unfair because like he can hit you when you're on the ground.
Yeah. He can box. He's just ready to box. That's what.
Well, yeah, but he can hit you when you're on the ground, and you can't do that to enemies.
Oh,
like when you knock down an enemy, like you've got to wait for him to stand up before you can do any more damage.
You know, he learned MMA, so
yeah. His ground game is strong.
Julian. I don't know what to tell you. You know, sorry.
And I will say, interestingly, so like the first 2, well, I guess one technically wasn't a boss. It was kind of one of those like mid-boss type enemies. Actually, that one I was able to. The first boss that I found, he was like just in like one of those like cellars where it's just you walk down the stairs, there's a boss room, and you go in.
Okay, yeah.
You couldn't summon on him, which I found very interesting.
Okay.
And so I just had to learn the fight. And he's not hard other than the fact that like he will do like 65% damage on you on one hit. And that's the thing that I don't like about the last like quarter of Elden Ring. And also just like, they're like,
right.
The reason that we made it harder is because the enemy's damage output is ridiculous. And also they're the damage you do to them is also reduced. And it's like, that's not fun to me. Like, that's just annoying because his actual patterns are very simple. Like the only reason it took me as many tries as it did is because like I would get greedy and then he would hit me and kill me. Yeah. But like the actual like fighting of him, I was like, oh no, I had his pattern down in like on the second or third try. Right. It was just a matter of not getting hit more than once, type of thing, and realizing when I could heal. Right. And then I went through like the first dungeon. As always, unparalleled dungeon design, really great. Yeah. I think I know a lot more of like how they hide stuff now. So I feel like I found most of the stuff like on this first try, which was pretty cool. Yeah. I fought the boss that you saw in the trailer, which was that like weird, it's almost like a Chinese lion. It's like three dudes, like, you know, underneath its like lion cloak. Right. Dumb looking design. God damn it. Like, I think so much of the From stuff is just so dumb and over the top. But like that was one where you get to summon an NPC, like one of the ones that you've met. Yeah. I had Black Knife Tish like come out, and when I got to the midpoint of that fight, I was like, oh no, you're supposed to have this extra help here because this dude is doing all sorts of like crazy AoE elemental damage, and it's got this weird attack pattern where it's almost like an ulcerated tree spirit where it's just doing these weird snaky moves that hit you from distances that you don't think it should be possible to do. Right. And it's like, it gives you just enough time to like recuperate from that shit. Cause again, the damage output is just so ridiculous. Yeah. And I beat it on my first try. Now, if I had to solo that, I'm stuck there for like 20, 30 tries and I'm getting really annoyed. Right. Yeah. And now, but I just got to the first. I can tell, dude, that it's the filter boss, and it's like I'm gonna have to come back. And the weird thing about the Shadow of the Erdtree stuff is that you do still level, but considering that like they recommend you to be at like level 150, I was level 166 when I went in. Yeah. The amount of runes that you get from killing enemies is pretty low. And even when I've killed that first boss, I only got like 70,000 runes, which is like nothing at that point in the game. Gotcha. Yeah. And so I've only leveled up like I think 3 times since like I got into this area. And part of that is because I already had like almost enough for a level when I started. So I just like cashed in some runes and got a level before I even really got going. Right. The way that you mitigate this ridiculous damage that these enemies are doing is there's a new item called the Erdtree blessing, and you pick them up sort of like golden seeds. Yeah. And then at Graces, you can use those to upgrade, like it ups your damage output and also reduces your damage input. Gotcha. You can do the same thing for your spirit ashes. Like it'll strengthen them across the board. Oh, okay. That's cool. And so, you know, you're incentivized to look for as many of these as possible to like upgrade your character that way. Like, for example, I went ahead and fucked around with one of those big fire giants that they showed in the trailer, that weird, it's like a machine, but it's like got all these like dead, like burning bodies in it. Yeah. Yeah. Started to attack it and realized that I was doing like hardly any damage to it whatsoever. And I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to mess with you yet. Yeah. No. And so I retreated. But, but I got to this boss where it was like, with a summoned NPC and my spirit ash, they didn't even make it to the halfway point. And then once the second phase started, dude. I don't want to say who they are or what they do. Okay. You'll know, like listeners who are playing it, you know. Yeah. They're as fast as they're as fast as Millennia, but they're dual wielding. Again, it was sort of like fighting Moog on that other character where I was like, oh, I'm not doing nearly enough damage, like per swing, to even like make this like viable. And when they hit me, it's like 78%. Yeah. Ridiculous. It's like I can take 2 hits. Right. Sometimes one, depending on what the move is. So like, I think I need to turn around and look explore. It's funny. More. I was before this thing. Before we started the podcast today. I was curious, so I was like spoiling who bosses were, because I'm probably not going to play it. I just was like, who are the bosses in this? And now I'm trying to think of who it is, because it was the article I was reading was like a suggested order for them or something like that. I feel like I'm going in kind of what's the pretty obvious order, simply because of like kind of where your eye is drawn to, like as you're exploring. I definitely think that the like lion beast or whatever that I fought is supposed to be like the first boss.
Yes, that one is definitely, yes, absolutely 100%. Okay, you might have to edit this out. Is it hold on. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Is she the second one?
That is the suggested second boss. Yes.
Holy shit, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I won't spoil who like the final stuff is.
No.
It sounds cool as shit, but apparently they're insane. If you the thing is, if you thought Melania was hard, I'm like, okay, great, cool.
Yeah. No, it's insane, and and the funny thing is that I couldn't even really tell I couldn't even begin to parse what they were doing. Mm-hmm. Like it's just like you get close and you die. I think it even mentions something like that, where it's just like, yeah, this is going to be a tough one, but you just have to kind of do it. And it's like, okay, well, great. I'm sure there's a way for me to like back out and go just like kind of get some more scatter tree like fragments and stuff like that to try to mitigate it a bit, because it does not seem doable currently.
Right. Yeah.
Like I said, it's like I get close and I die. So it's not even a matter of like figuring out like the patterns or whatever. It's like they're just like you remember, I don't know, you might not. There's these like mannequin enemies in Rhea Lucaria Academy that they do this like they like kind of glitch out and they just start like zigzagging back and forth with like no pattern whatsoever. They just kind of malfunction and are just kind of like whirling around with like their blade everywhere.
Oh yeah. I remember those guys. Yeah,
that's what she does, except with more of a purpose.
Okay, cool. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. That is Shadow of the Erdtree. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'm kind of lukewarm on it right now.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, to be fair, you were the most lukewarm on Elden Ring.
True.
So,
and I've become quite a fan. I've gotten a couple like of the cool weapons. I got like the one big like new weapon that I think people are very excited about, which is Milady's Blade. Okay. It is a light greatsword, which means that it's like a long blade, but it doesn't weigh much.
Right.
And that sounds kind of neat, but I don't think that really fits with this particular character. I don't know what I want to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say one nice thing is that the enemies are dropping smithing stones quite a bit, which is nice, because obviously you're going to get all these new weapons and like, don't want to have to farm for a ton of smithing stones to work on them. But I did find like one. I just got this one really cool colossal greatsword, but it's for an intelligence build, and I was like,
yeah.
So
you'll have that.
Yeah, and that's the other one last little quibble is I wish that the way that you respect was just paying runes and not having to pick up a consumable item that it's hard to find.
Yeah,
because I have two.
I think that was their intent though, because they don't want you to do it over and over again without like, having to start like a New Game Plus or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that was their intent.
Well, but the problem with New Game Plus is that they don't even give you the chance, like when you start the New Game Plus, to respec. Like you still have to go and beat Renala.
You still have to go beat Renala. Yeah, absolutely.
Because like especially here with like this DLC or this it's not DLC. It's it's the size of Dark Souls.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to want to try out different builds because like some of these new weapon types require like a very different skill set and stuff like that. And that's the other. Oh man, the fact that it's so deep into the game before you can get to this stuff. Right?
Oh yeah.
I'm especially thinking of for people that are just either just playing it, or if you want to use some of these new weapons, like for a build to start, like you can't get there and I think I wish that they had seeded some of this stuff within the existing world as well, like as part of the expansion. Because there are, so I will say, like I was watching, I think like, it was like Fextra Life's review after he played it for 100 hours, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it is a ridiculous amount of new, it's not just weapons. It's Ashes of War, it's consumables, it's recipes, it's, incantations, sorceries. Yep. So there's a lot of new stuff. And it's like, yeah, it'd be kind of nice if some of this like stuff that's in the new categories you could find in the lands between now,
right? So
that you could actually like start working on that stuff, before level 150
and do different. I guess that would be your New Game Plus build or whatever after that. I don't know.
But even on New Game Plus, you're still going to have to go beat Radon and Moog. So,
well, not necessarily, right? Well, if you
do. Those are the requirements.
No. Hear me out. Doesn't that stuff carry over to New Game Plus though?
Mm-mm. New Game Plus resets everything except for your character's levels and equipment and items.
So you get your equipment and items, right?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean.
You see what I mean? Like you get that, you have to do that stuff late, and then you go New Game Plus and you have it again. Like and that's what I mean.
And then you go as far as you can to beat Renala, and then you can respect. And then I see what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. We have an understanding now. Yeah. Yes. I know it's kind of not the funnest way to do it or whatever. This is what they do though. Their DLC is always just weird. Like at least we knew where to find it because I know that was a problem in some of them. Oh yeah, they're like Dark Souls. I think it's Dark Souls, the original one. Like the way to get in the DLC is like absolutely obtuse as fuck. Yeah. Like it's like, hey, you just paid money for this. How do you do it? Figure it out. Shut up. Yeah, which entertains me to some degree. I don't know why.
It's the audacity of it.
Yeah, I think that's it. It.
Pay us $50 for this expansion, but also fuck you, as far as trying to actually get to the content.
Yeah, at least it's kind of like it's the second hardest boss in the regular thing. You got to beat them, and after that, figure it out.
At least it wasn't like you have to beat Melania, right?
Yeah,
like that.
Right?
That would just be like
that'd be. And I could have seen him doing that too.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Especially considering that like she's Miquella's sister, right? So it would have made makes more sense than beating Radon.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, I guess Radon is also related to them.
Yes.
Wait. Right?
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I said 100%. Now I'm like, actually, I don't know. But no, I know. Yeah, it makes sense, and the and Moog definitely makes sense because of other reasons and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, Moog is literally like camped out in front of Miquella's cocoon.
I mean, well, that was a whole thing because that's why Melania's upset because it's a whole thing, Julian. It's a whole thing.
I don't even know.
I know. I won't tell you.
It's one of those things where it's like, I've played through this game like 2.5 times and I still don't really understand any of the story because it's not presented to me as in a consumable way.
You should watch a lore video sometime.
I've watched lore videos, but it's still,
you still don't get it? Interesting.
Yeah. I get parts of it. Like,
okay.
I did watch a lore video regarding Rykert in regards to like Mesmer and stuff like that. And that was kind of interesting.
Right.
But yeah, but I also don't have time to watch like,
I mean, they're long. Yeah.
Like, 20, 1 hour long lore videos.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think, the best ones are the Vadi video ones.
Yeah.
And
Facts for Life does really good ones as well. That was the one that I watched on Rykert.
Yeah, I watched like after I beat the game, I was like, okay, I kind of know and think I know kind of what's happening here, but not really. And then like I watched that and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this all makes sense. Okay, got it. This does check out a lot of it. So.
Yeah, there are really interesting like when you go into those deep dives, it is interesting how much thought the devs obviously put into it, where you see these connections are made to be meant or made to be made, like
meant
linked.
To be made.
Meant. Thank you.
Yes, it's okay.
Talking like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon character.
We've all been there.
Yeah, because one of the videos I watched recently was like, what the hell is that face in the bottom of Stormvale Castle supposed to be? Like that whole thing, and then like showing like the connections between like the death root that is actually popping up everywhere. It's like, oh, okay, and like possibly like the actual land mass of the lands between is actually his body. It's like, oh shit, okay, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Like again, could have spelled that out a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't do that.
They don't do that.
Yeah, no, that's just not what they do.
Yeah, and I get the appeal. You were talking earlier about like show don't tell, which I get.
Yeah,
but sometimes you need to tell a little bit. I'm not wanting everything like spelled out for me, but I want a little bit more told to me. In this case,
I agree. There are certain parts that you should tell.
Yes.
Absolutely. But at the same, you have to make people care first, which they usually do. Like a lot of that just goes into like, here's a fun game to play. Okay, I care. Like
right.
that you're in. Now just explain what's going on.
But like, you know, you can't expect me, just a regular player, to make the connection between this one regular monster that I just like kill in one hit all the time. It's like, no, but don't you see the connection to this, and this? Is like, no, my dude, I killed it for some runes. Yeah. Like, it was in my way, and I swung my sword, and it died.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I guess that's that.
Yeah, that's all the gaming stuff I have. I have one last thing to kind of end. Right.
Yeah, for sure. I only got a couple more games. I played. I guess I got 3. I more Nextfext demos. These are ones I played off stream though. I played Tavern Talk. It is a video game. It's like Coffee Talk, which was a game where you made coffee for people and talked to them.
About daughters and dogs. You know, no big whoop. Yeah,
exactly. Unfortunately, it wasn't that game. I wish that was in the game. That would have been a lot. I remember my exact thing with Coffee Talk was I was like, I don't know. It's trying to do the Valhalla thing, the cyberpunk bartending action game. For those that don't know, it's trying to do that thing, but it doesn't do it quite good enough for me to really highly recommend it. I remember like there was other stuff, but I've long since forgotten it now. I tried to play the sequel. I remember not really liking it either for some reason. Like it did something that made me angry, and I just was like, I'm done with this. This was Coffee Talk, not Tavern Talk.
Right.
Tavern Talk is a different developer, but they're doing the same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I will say right up front that their presentation is a lot better. Like, they have like, you know, like animations and stuff like that going on. And like, I kind of really dig, like the setting of it is, okay, you're in a D&D setting.
Okay. I was wondering if it was like a fantasy tavern.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. It's a fantasy tavern. You're instead of making, you know, coffee or, you know, alcoholic beverages, you're making potions and giving it to people. And they drink them, and that's that. But like you're drinking potions according to like what kind of quest they're about to go on or whatever. So this person needs more strength or whatever to go on this thing that he's going to do. And the gimmick is kind of people come into the tavern and give you like rumors of stuff that's happening, and you overhear it, and you're making quests for people to go on, which is kind of a neat concept. Like I was like, this is kind of cool. Like,
yeah, that actually reminds me of Reciteer, which is a shopkeep game where you're selling items and weapons and equipment to people going on quests.
Mm-hmm. It's sort of that, but much more character focused. Mm-hmm. Like the one character is basically like this elf girl who's been like a ranger who protects the forest and stuff like that. You know, pretty stereotypical, but she has like hardcore anxiety and like, you know, doubts herself all the time. But so she's like sitting there like about to take this quest that's on the board, but like sitting there going, I don't know. You know, it was cute. It has kind of the same issue that I have with Coffee Talk, where I'm like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. It's just going on a little long. Mm-hmm. But it's not bad. I don't know if I would keep going playing it or not. I probably will. But you know, it's neat. Like I said, there's something, and this is one I keep getting torn on, because there's something about it that I'm like, it just feels off to me. And I always go, what did Valhalla do that like got me into that? Like that got me like, damn, I love this. This is awesome.
You really connected with that character.
That's part one. Right?
Yeah.
You're in Tavern Talk. You are playing as the innkeeper, which is just kind of a generic character, and that's fine.
Your self-insert.
your self-insert. Right. Jill was not a self-insert. Jill was a character that you were playing as that did stuff. And that goes a long way to it because you're invested in her story as well as the other, like the people that are coming in story. And the other thing I think it is Valhalla was like very fast paced, believe it or not. Like it is the same concept. People are coming into the bar. They're talking to you. You're having a conversation. You make them a drink or three, and then they leave. But it's very, very snappy. Like it's constantly like, here's a guy. You talk to them, make them a drink, have a conversation. They leave, and it just keeps moving on. Like there'd be so many different people showing up at all times. It felt like it was constantly different. And the other thing that I liked about it was people would show up to the bar that you fucking hated. And I loved that because that was real as shit. Like when you work at a place like that, people are going to show up and you're like, oh, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. I hate them. And that appealed to me. I was like, yes, you need, but like they in these games, they're going for more of a cozy feel, which I get. But like people show up and you're just like, oh, it's this guy. All right. Yeah. But you start to get bored of them. Like I did like the elf girl, and that's the one girl that, like they're trying to make you care about, at least, so far. They do a good job with that. But at the same time, I'm like, but where's like a character that I just don't want to serve and wish would go away, and for the right reasons, for reasons like, no, this character sucks. We want you to feel that way, instead of like, this character, you're trying to make me like him, but I just don't. It's like that kind of feels bad, but I don't know. It's neat. I don't know if any game will get Valhalla right to me. That whole feel. Yeah. It's tough to do. That is a tough thing to do. Also, the sequel to Valhalla is very worrying that it will never come out. Because it was supposed to come out years ago, and they basically just went, nope, not good enough, and just basically sidelined. Well, that was the pandemic played a role. It was a lot of different stuff. But yeah,
that is the problem with indies, especially if they're self-publishing, is that they can very easily fall into that trap where they'll just so a good example, well, a great example actually is Summertime Saga, right? Where that game has like, back in 2021 they had the patrons vote on what they wanted the next update to be, and one of the choices was a tech update, which was to kind of like make the game in widescreen, like change stuff on the back end to ostensibly make the game faster to develop once the tech update was completed. But that update ballooned and ballooned and ballooned, and they're still working on it. And finally, earlier this, like the last month, I think they decided to release it in pieces. And so I downloaded like the first piece, but it's like, it's really weird when you only have like two characters, like stories implemented, and everything else is not. So you get into the situation where it's like, the only thing that you can do is wait until enough days have passed in game for this next event to happen, where in the regular game, you're doing other things, but that stuff is not here anymore. So it's kind of weird. And then like, the guy that's working on that game, A Struggle with Sin, that I got really into, a couple weeks ago, he's suspending the charges on Patreon for July because he's taking a 2-week vacation. And it's like, dude, you're allowed to take a vacation. Like, it's fine. And, he's his thing is that like, he's very like meticulous and he's doing like these very detailed, like weekly updates and stuff like that. And it's like, you can tell that he is constantly having to like pull back his ideas because someone is like, yo, that's way too unwieldy. You shouldn't do that. And he's like, yeah, you're probably right. But you can tell that he still wants to, like, he's like, it's more like, oh, you're probably right. But he still kind of wants to do it though, right? And it's nobody can really tell him no, right? It's just a matter of like, how much time does he want to spend and how much of his life force does he want to sacrifice? Right. Yeah. Like burning the candle on both ends to get it done. Yeah. And that can happen with those indies for sure.
Nirvana is which is the Valhalla sequel. It's on Steam. You can go look at it. For people curious of it or have never heard of it, or if you've never heard of Valhalla, you should check it out. It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's for, it's very much a visual novel with a gimmick, but it's good. That's basically what Tavern Talk is. It's a visual novel with a gimmick. They kind of all are, but Nirvana's whole thing was like, they had it pretty much done. I want to say it was supposed to come out in 2022, like 2 years ago. And they basically came out like a few months or a little while before the game was like kind of expected to come out, and just went, yeah, no, we're rewriting the entire script and we're doing this, and this because it's the guy basically responsible for it just does not like, and like it was him writing the letter like, I'm not happy with it. I just don't want to do it, and people on the team are mad at me about this, and I understand that. It's like, well, hey man, I respect that, but so we'll see what happens. But it's apparently still being worked on. The page is still there, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Tavern Talk is it's neat. It's like I said, the presentation is really good. It's a lot better than Coffee Talk that in that sense. My only last criticism of it is the drink making is really kind of finicky. Not sure I like it. Like it's fine, it works. Like once you get the trick of it, it's kind of but it wants you to pour things yourself, which is kind of a pain in the ass. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like you almost have to see it to know what I'm talking about, or feel it to know what I'm talking about. It's a little finicky. Once you get it, it's not too bad. But
yeah, I
don't know. But it's neat.
I don't know, man. I really loved working the bar in Fable 2. That's a perfect pouring.
Right.
I got really good at it. Like I got that rhythm down, but that was also like a very simple button press. It wasn't like
this is so I don't know if there's a controller version of the game, but on mouse and keyboard you have to click the potion, drag it over to the thing, drag it right on top of it to where it pours over, and then pull it away. And it's a little finicky. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's not quite the way you'd want that to feel. I don't know how to explain it.
All right, so I'll say this real quick. I don't mean to bring these types of games up all the time, but I've just been in a mood lately. But I tried a new porn game that it's a very similar type of thing where you're running a bar. Okay. It's called Succumb Brewery.
Okay.
And it's got like a pouring mini game for like the different drinks. And all right. But there it's just like so you click the button to start pouring the beer, and then you click it again to stop it, and you're trying to get it at like the right spot in the mug. Yeah. And then like when you're pouring wine, you want to like you click the button to like start tilting the wine bottle, and you want to do it like right at 90 degrees. Yeah. That type of thing. Right. But so that's really simple. It's just a matter of like mouse clicking where you're not having to actually like drag and drop anything like very finely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, once the trick of it, I found was like, you want to get it to where, because you have to fill it like certain levels. So you want one potion to be like 3 levels, and then another one to be 1, and then another one to be 1, or however you make sure you have to do it to make the recipe. So you have to drag it and then kind of get it halfway and then pull it away. And then it'll just kind of fill itself up the rest of the way. But it's still just, there's something about it that's not quite right. Like, it's weird. You don't
want it to be that involved for, that's, I get the idea behind it, but
I like the idea. I like the presentation. It doesn't quite feel correct, especially for what you're trying to do, like
they're trying to make the bartending part of it more gamey than it probably needs to be.
Then it probably needs to be. Exactly. Like even Coffee Talk is like, just click the ingredients and it'll be all right. Like, it's fine. So that's Tavern Talk. It's a neat game though, overall. Like if you like Coffee Talk or like visual novels or like want a cozy game, look into that one. It's pretty neat. Let's see. Not a demo I played, but I won't talk much about it. I played F124 because it's a racing game and I'm going to play it.
No one can stop you.
No one can stop me, Julian. They really can't. It's fine. It's sure is a racing game. I played it on the Steam.
F1 feels like, to me, that seems like the most boring of the race types.
No.
Am I wrong?
Dude, they have turbo boosts in fucking F1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got that Nas in there? Vin Diesel, like
it's like some kind of like
excited?
battery activated thing, and like you have a meter for it. And like that's a real thing. Like there are spots on the track where they designate this to where you can hit a button and like it'll make you go faster. It's like you can use it to overtake people and stuff like that. It's a whole thing. I was like, F1's all right. It's the most video game shit that isn't a video game. It's weird, man. I just think it's funny. I don't know why. I might stream that pretty soon here.
You ever see any of
it?
I know you haven't watched the movies, but have you ever seen the footage of like Fast and the Furious movies when they hit the Nas?
Yeah.
That's always entertaining. Like just the way they get like thrown back into the chair, and you always get that nice CG, like, you know, inside the engine of the Nas. Like, it's so dumb. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. F1's funny. The only thing is they took out the really bad story mode in this one. The story mode was terrible, but it was funny to me. But this isn't there. Now it's like you just do the career mode, which was the main event anyway. So fuck it. Anyway, that's a game you can play. You know, if you're one of those people, I guess.
I'm betting 99.9% of our listeners are not those people.
They probably aren't, Julian. Also, you know, heads up, Police Simulator Patrol Officers has some new DLC. I played that. That game is fucking hilarious still because somehow it keeps getting worse. I don't know how it keeps getting buggier, and I'm so into every bug that it introduces. Like, I'm so into it. I don't know how to explain it. There's just like, so the new DLC is like, now the highway patrol, you can go be the highway patrol. Like, so you're going into like way stations and like looking in people's fucking truck cargo. Like, you ain't supposed to be carrying this shit, which is hilarious. Somebody ran from me in this one. Like, I looked in the back of the truck and they just took the fuck off, and I was like, well, all right, well, I guess we're doing this. And so I just had to run them down on like the emptiest exit ever. Like, just arrested them in the middle of it. It was great. I loved it. But like it does weird shit. Like, I'm gonna have to play that on stream. I'm gonna have to because it's so stupid.
I wish it was a high enough caliber game to license Junior Brown's Highway Patrol song for the intro to the DLC. That would make me happy.
No, like they just kind of like, you buy that DLC and they're just like, hey, you got that now. You can go do it. And it's like, okay, cool. That's pretty much it. Again, that's. You know what kind of person you are if you're going to play that game. But okay, the actual real cool game that I played, it was another Steam Nextfext demo, that I was telling Julian about. Is called Dustborn. It is published.
Dustborn or Duskborn?
Dust. Okay. With a T. It is published by like Quantum Dream. Like some sort of Quantum Dream spotlight thing.
Quantum Dream or Quantic Dreams?
Quantic Dream. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Quantic. Yeah. The people that make the Detroit and all that stuff. You know the ones.
Okay. It actually is them.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. Okay. Spotlight by Quantic Dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've just brought the trailer up. I'm looking at it. All right.
Yeah. I'll explain what the game is, or what I've gathered from the demo is going on. So it is set in some kind of alternate history where John F. Kennedy was not assassinated. And instead they assassinated Jackie Kennedy, and Marilyn Monroe became his second wife. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, they just keep saying weird shit every now and then. I'm like, all right. I'm intrigued by that.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting character action.
No, you wouldn't be. Why would you?
But like at first, it was looking like a Life is Strange, and then
it is,
and then
very much.
You've got a baseball bat, and you're fighting like guards and teleporting around the field, and that dude just started glowing.
Yeah. And also,
this looks rad.
Also, what if I told you there was just a random aspect that you are a band and sometimes you will play music and there's a rhythm game? It's not the greatest rhythm game in the world, but it's there and you'll do it.
Hey man, Goodbye Volcano High was one of my favorite games of last year.
Yeah, and I like at one point it was just like, hey, you're gonna sit down and write a song. I was like, all right, let's do that. That sounds cool.
Yeah. Oh shit! There's like this giant Eldritch monster.
Yeah.
What is this game?
No, the demo's really cool. If the demo's there, I highly recommend it. It's really neat. It jumps around a lot to the point where you're like, what the fuck's going on right now? Like, it was jumping me to see, like, it was like, I missed a lot. I don't know what I missed, but I missed some shit. It's very intriguing to me. That's one that caught my attention when I didn't expect me to like the demo as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this has a neat look to it. It looks kind of like a Life is Strange kind of thing. And then I did what you did, where I was like, there's fighting in it? Oh, okay. All right. Fuck it. Let's try this. And I kind of
real
forgot
good, fight the power vibe to it.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're basically, like I said, John F. Kennedy, started some sort of thing called Justice, which is they're kind of like a fascist thing, because he got real upset that somebody assassinated his wife. He just got real upset about it. I don't know what happened. You're escaping from some other group called the Puritans or something like that. There's a lot of shit going on that I was like, okay, well, I'll have to get the full game to know what's going on. Yeah. But the combat's nothing that's gonna blow you away or anything, but it's not terrible. It feels fine.
I think the concept of marrying a more active type of gameplay with that type of, the Life is Strange, not quite, you know what I mean? That type of more story centric thing is kind of a cool idea.
It's a really cool idea. And it seems like a really neat game. So I'm really looking forward to it. If anybody out there takes a look at it, give it, I think the demo's still up. I'd have to look.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah. I did delete the demo because I was I played it. I was like, well, I'm definitely buying that game when it comes out.
August 20th of this year. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah. So pretty soon.
Never heard of it. And it's coming very soon.
I just, like I said, it was high up on the Nextfext demo thing. And I was like, all right, let's look at this. A lot of the higher up ones, I was kind of just not interested. They just weren't for me. But that one, I was like, this might be cool. Let's try it. And
also
it's really
seems
cool.
like maybe a more serious hi-fi rush now that I think about it.
Yeah, no, actually, it absolutely could be. Most of there wasn't a whole lot of humor stuff going on. It was definitely a more serious vibe. But could be it could be a complete train wreck too. Who knows? Sure. But it's interesting enough for me to definitely pick it up when it comes out.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Yeah. That's video games. That's it. Yeah. That's all there are. No more.
Do you want to check in with Sherwin Williams before we get to my last thing?
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Okay, can you get him in?
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on, I'll get him in here. Hold on. Sherwin, you gotta come in here, man. All right. Okay.
Ask Sherwin Williams.
Hi, Sherwin.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Hey, fuck all that shit, man. I'm done with this nice guy bullshit. Done with that shit. No, first couple times I came on this show, motherfuckers was like, "Hey, Sherwin, you can't be all cussing and shit. You can't be being you. You can't be doing that shit. Fuck that shit, man. You know what I am. You got this.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm here for.
Yeah.
What these motherfuckers got to ask me?
Well, we actually had some nice questions.
Okay, well that's good. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. I'm a nice guy for real.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
First one comes from David Portnow, who says,
"Okay, what's he got?
Hey Sherwin, when was the last time you showed a man?"
Oh shit! I showed a man color green all the time, man. Yeah, I showed a motherfucker color red just a little while ago. That sounds like I beat a motherfucker up and showed him his own blood, but that ain't true. No, I was like, yo, you got that bar? Like, what if you painted that shit red? And he was like, yo. I was like, yo, hey, all right. So, yeah. Well, yeah. So all the time, man. All the time,
Okay.
David. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that actually goes really well into our next question from
All
Case
right.
Monster, who says, "Hey Sherwin, what's your favorite shade of green?"
Oh, yo, man. Yo, let me tell you something about green. You paint some shit green that like that's calming, like, right? I like a mint green, you know, because I feel like I can just taste it. You know, I look at that paint, I'm like, man, can just taste that there paint. I mean, I wouldn't. You don't want to eat no paint. I mean, that'd be bad. But you know, like you feel like you can taste that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, like mint green. Maybe a sea foam, you know, you put that shit in a doctor's office, you know, everybody's like, damn, I gotta get this surgery. And they're like, but green though, I'm calm. It's cool. That's how it works, you know?
Yeah.
It's all about colors, man. We the colors of your life and shit, you know?
That should be your new slogan.
I mean, I pitched it before. They don't listen to my ass. I mean, see, that's the thing, Julian. Man, these motherfuckers out here trying to like tame me and shit. These shareholders and shit trying to hold Sherwin Williams back. I ain't about this bullshit. So I come on this shit. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna let loose. Fuck it, man. I'm done with that. That nice guy shit ain't me. They don't listen to this shit anyway. Fuck it.
No, yeah, you're pretty safe popping off here.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably not going to reach like the shareholders.
Right. If it does, fuck them. What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
What are they gonna do to me?
I guess it depends on how much control they have.
They ain't got shit.
Yeah.
They think they got shit. They ain't got shit on me.
I
will make them see red. I will show a motherfucker red that time.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, sure. This comes from Dennis75. I'm kind of bouncing around. We'll get to everybody.
What up, Dennis?
Hey, Sherwin, if you had to rank yourself against these other famous Williamses, where would you rank? Ooh. 1 being best, 10 being worst.
All right.
Hank Williams?
Ooh. Better than him. I mean,
okay, on like scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, and I have to rank him 1 to 10.
You have to rank yourself against. So like,
so we're gonna rank me 10. I mean, man, I mean, I'm not perfect. Maybe I'm like a 7. All right. But okay. Hank Williams, are we talking junior or senior?
It just says Hank Williams.
There's 2 of them. There's junior and senior.
Let's say senior.
Okay. Junior was the Monday Night Football guy. All right, man. Man, that's tough, man. I don't want to rank these white folks. Shit. I don't know. Hank Williams. Hold on. Man, you gonna make me look up Hank Williams on this motherfucker? This is bullshit. Why I got to do all this research? What did he make? What songs he got?
I don't know.
How you gonna not know songs, man? Come on, man.
I actually wasn't even sure that he was a singer.
He did Hey Good Looking. Oh, I don't even give a fuck about that song, man. He's like a 3. Fuck that dude.
Okay.
All right.
Billy D. Williams.
All right. Now we talking. All right. Now he's like an 8. Okay. No, Billy D's like a 9. Come on now.
Yeah,
he's like a 9. He's cool. I mean, ain't nobody perfect. Probably. I'm just gonna throw it out there. You know, there ain't nobody a 10.
Yeah.
You know, that's
you can be a
life.
10 and not be perfect. It's just as high as the scale goes.
Well, I don't want to be handing out perfect ratings, you know, all the time. That you got to earn.
Well, no, yeah, you got to, pick your spots.
You got to give me money. That's what that's
okay.
it. Yeah.
Money.
None of these
confirmed.
motherfuckers gave me money. So, you know, we'll see.
Montel Williams.
Montel. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. He had their talk show. Right. Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. All right. Montel. Montel, I don't know. He's like a 5, maybe. He's, he seems all right, but I don't give a fuck about him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, he was in the military or whatever. I remember that. I used to watch that when I stayed homesick from school. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting time frame there.
Yeah. No, I know.
Pharrell Williams.
Pharrell Williams. Oh yeah, the producer, right? He was in.
Wasn't he a singer?
He was a little bit of everything if I remember right. I keep thinking Pharrell. Man, I can't remember now. I know he did that Happy song. I hate that song.
Did he do that one? I thought that was that's not CeeLo Green?
No, he definitely. Yeah, that was this big hit. That was Happy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Man, just for that, man, fuck that dude. he's like a 2.
Okay, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
John Williams.
Star
Wars.
Was he like Darth Vader or some shit? I don't really know.
No, he did all the music, man.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That guy. All right, okay.
Yeah, don't do any more. We'll get sued.
Right. No, it is. I mean, I do what I want, but all right. Well, he's all right. 6.
Shit. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, no, he's probably cool. He's on par with me. He's 7. He's a thug. He's cool. Yeah, 7.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Robin Williams.
Ooh, Robin Williams. He's funny motherfucker. That guy. Yeah. The Gone Too Soon. That dude. Gone Too Soon. He was the genie. Yeah. He was out there like, you ain't never had a friend like me. I was like, you right. He's probably a 9.
Yeah,
say he's a 9. He cool. Yeah. He's up there with Billy D. Right. Okay.
Cat Williams.
Oh man. Since been pimping. All right, I got it. He's like maybe a 7. I don't. Is he cooler than me? I don't know, man. How you gonna ask me this? I don't like having to judge people like this. This is too much, man. I don't judge. Who sent this in?
This was Dennis 75.
Dennis, you making me judge people and shit. I don't know if I like that, but that's all right. That's all right. Man, I guess he's like me. We'll put him at a 7. 7's fine. That's me.
Okay.
That's where I put myself. I put him there. We equal. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Serena Williams.
Oh, she that tennis girl. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. All right. She's probably like a 9. Yeah, at least, maybe, 9.5. 9.5.
Yeah, okay.
She hits that ball hard. You ever seen her hit that ball? That shit's hard, man. Oh, shit.
For sure.
You ain't hitting that back.
I'm definitely not.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Shit.
And finally, Trent Williams.
I have no idea who that is, yo.
Neither do I.
He's a 7.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck it. Yep. No idea who Trent Williams is, yo. Now I'm gonna look him up though, just in case I made a horrible mistake. Maybe he's a terrible person. Oh boy. Oh, he's a football player. All right, 7. Fuck it. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Seems pretty par for the course for football players.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. What else we got? We've
got a few here from your buddy Matt, so we should probably start working through these.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. That's fine. What's he got to say now?
First one. Hey, Sherwin, was it your bitch ass I saw rolling through my hood like a high schooler borrowing daddy's car? Because the Dutch boy looks like he thinks at mock potato.
You don't know what the motherfucking Dutch boy looks like. Stop acting like you do. You see, you just out here paranoid now. We got your ass scared. Get your mail, player. Go out there.
He says, I'm colorblind, playa. I don't give a shit about your brown paint pants.
Ain't nobody. What's that got to do with anything? You're colorblind. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. Well. That sounds tragic. I mean, the world is full of color. You can't see all that shit. I'm sorry about that. But you be talking shit like this, and this is what you get. Maybe you deserve it. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Saying you show up at your local Sherwin Williams store, you get your ass handled. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Sure.
What else you got, Julian?
We got 2 more from Matt. I'll do the second one, and then we'll bounce around.
All right.
This one, I'm going to cut you off here a little bit before you answer because I think I have an idea.
Okay. All right.
He says, "Why was Sherwin on the grassy knoll on 11/22/1965? Why? And I can only say that you were just observing the 2-year anniversary of JFK's assassination like a good American.
Right.
Because that would have been 1965.
Yeah, I was working on my PhD. I've been in school for like 30 fucking years, man. You know.
I think he was implying that you might have had something to do with the assassination, but I don't know why you would have returned to the scene of the crime 2 years later.
Motherfucker can't even do math. He's trying to insult. He's trying to make weird shit up. He can't even do it right. Fucking. What else you got, man?
New person with a question.
All right.
Thurand.
What up?
They say, "Hey Sherwin, I feel like things got off on the wrong foot between you and the Stage Select crew."
Oh no, they cool.
I'm glad you're still hanging in there. Good to have you here. I know that sometimes you just have to show a man, you know? At least that's what Justin says. And honestly, it sounds like pretty sage advice. I heed that. Don't know exactly what it means, but that's for the true scholars to figure out. What would you show a man, Sherwin?
I mean, we already been over this. You know, I'd show him just, you know, a world full of color, right? You know, you got a new baby, right? What about Robin's Egg Blue? You ever thought of that shit? I'd show a man that shit. You know, you got some new blinds. You know, what color you gonna match that shit with? Yo, you ever think about like eggshell white? I show a man that shit. Mm-hmm. You know, you just show him a world full of color, man. You go outside, you look, and there, you know, right after it rains and there's a rainbow, you look at that shit and you go, man, that shit, that's a fucking rainbow right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You think about that. You show a man that shit, they'd be like, yo, what if I painted my daughter's bedroom green? Show the man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well said.
For real, these guys cool. They cool. They
absolutely.
You know, they like no, you cool, Julian. That's what I mean. I'm telling them out there, you know, they cool. That these because he was like they started off on the wrong foot. I'm like, no, they cool, man. I know that weird motherfucker, you know, always getting me in here and shit. I know him for a while. You know, he's cool. You know, I used to see him, you know, outside of my economics class, because, you know, they used to make me go to that shit. You know, I've been going to school for 30 years. I don't pass any of this shit, but they just keep sending me back. It's fine. You know, they were like, you know, when you show up to these events, you got to be a good Christian boy and all this. I'm like, I need to fire that motherfucker. Who gave me that advice. That's bullshit.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. You know, they be like, yo, I got some people, you know, that invest in this company that I don't trust, man. I'm just telling you.
No, it's just last time you visited, I was getting like a real strong, like, fundamentalist Christian vibe from you.
Yeah, they told me to do that. Yeah, they was like, yo, hey, that's the image you want to portray. And I was like, I mean, I guess, man. I don't know though. I don't know.
Trying to hobby lobby
and you know, after a few little things, it ain't nothing happened. You know, ain't nobody showing up in my house. Matt, bitch. You know, we good. You know, if Matt shows up in my house, you know, I got something for his ass. I mean, come down to your local Sherwin Williams store. You know I'm out there. You know where I'm at.
Yep. All right.
All right, man.
Next up, another one from David Portnov, who says,
all right.
Hey, Sherwin, oil paint or watercolors?
Yo, that's a question right there. Now, you don't want to paint your walls that shit, though. You know, so you want to use watercolors, man. That's muted. You use an oil paint, that's dark, man. Come on now. I mean, think about it.
Sure.
That's for like models and shit. You know, if you're one of them nerds, you know, constantly doing that shit, then maybe oil paints. But, you know, nah, watercolors, man. You want to get them walls, you know, muted, you know, but bright and cheerful. You know, you paint your stepdaughter's, you know, new study place. I'm running out of rooms, Julian. I don't know what else to tell you. You know, you paint the hallway, you paint that shit, you know, nice watercolor green. I'm sure it's got a name. I can't think of it right now. It's fine though.
Okay.
You know, you paint that shit.
I don't really know much about like house painting. I feel like watercolor doesn't really enter into the equation, but you're the expert.
You know what? It really don't, but I like them better than oil paints because nerds use that shit. Fuck that shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. hate to let you in on this, Sherwin, but like all of our listeners are huge nerds.
Now that was aimed at one person, and they know who they are. So let's just move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, last question for you this week, Sherwin. Last one from Matt, who says, "Hey, Sherwin, ask Morgan what his favorite meal and color are."
Why would I do that? I don't even know who that is, man.
He's our stage director.
About? Okay.
Are you willing to talk to him? I don't.
I mean, I guess, man, that's fine. What's he got to say to me? What do I got to ask him? Hold on. What am I supposed to ask him?
What his favorite meal is and what his favorite color is.
Favorite meal and color? I don't give a shit about. All right, fine. That's fine.
All right, hold on.
If it makes him happy, I guess.
Hey, Morgan.
This motherfucker.
Can you come in
Matt
here,
got
please?
some shit. Matt got some shit
real
up his
quick.
sleeve. I don't trust this.
Yes, Mr. Titus.
Yo, what up, man?
Mr. Williams.
Hey, shut up. What's your favorite color?
Oh, well,
you got 5 seconds.
I come from a dark land. It's mostly
3,
slate gray and
2.
black.
Okay, slate gray. That's a good color. You know, you paint that in a hallway, people be like, "Yo, this hallway's gray as shit." Yo, all right. What's your favorite food, Morgan?
Rotten meat.
All right, you know that I ain't got nothing on that. I mean, that's just disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. But you know,
I always am. So
Morgan, I like you. You all right, man. You ever, you need some paint? You come on down to your local Sherwin Williams. You know, we give you a nice deal on that shit. All right.
Thank you, sir. As long as it doesn't resemble the poison swamps.
No problem. You know, I mean, listen, I don't know what color are them. You know, we'll keep you out of that aisle.
All sorts of different colors, but mostly like pea green and vermilion.
All right, that's intense, dog. I don't know what to tell you there.
It's very disconcerting.
Yo, you need a gun for that shit. Like you looking to pack some heat in there. You know, I mean, I might know a dude. You know, who knows a dude? You know, you ever need something like that? You let me know. All right,
I will, sir.
All right,
you would be surprised at how effective a gun would probably be in most situations where I come from.
I mean, I imagine so, man. I mean, you sound like you from a rough hood. Let me tell you. Thank you, Morgan. Apparently I was supposed to ask you them questions. I don't know. Shit, I don't know why. I'm sorry.
I don't know most of the things they ask me to do around here, so I appreciate it.
Like, yo, listen, hey, they ain't like treating you bad over here, right? Like,
no, right? the Mr. Titus rescued me from my lands. It's been quite pleasant here.
Well, that's nice of him. All right.
Yes.
I'm sorry that these listeners don't respect you. That's what I'm saying. I mean, they thought something funny was going to happen if I interacted with you, and that's some bull ass shit. That's all I'm saying.
Oh. I didn't think of it that way.
Well, no, it's all good. I mean, you did great. You showed. Listen, you showed them, man.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
You killing it.
Mr. Titus, will that be all? Oh yeah. Thanks, Morgan. You can just head out. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yo, he's a good seed. He's a good seed, that kid. Like him.
He is, yeah. You know, we've really come to appreciate him around here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sherwin.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time as always.
Oh yeah, you know, it's my pleasure, man. This is my place, you know, like kick my shoes off, you know, take my pants off and, you know, fart all over everything. I don't know how people relax around here, you know. So this is what I do, you know.
Yeah.
Come out here and put my dick in everything. I don't know what's a good saying to be like, yo, let's do what I want on this shit.
I think you just say you do what you want. I don't think you really need to go into that much detail, but you did.
All right. Well, that's, you know, I'll put my dick in what I want. I don't know what to tell you. All right, man. I'm going to take off. You keep it real. Any of y'all out there, you know, ever want to
Ask Sherwin Williams.
You know where to do that shit.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, I think he left.
Okay.
Yeah. He likes it around here. I'll tell you what. He's gotten very comfortable, you know?
That's good. I wonder sometimes.
Yeah.
I just have to say, I don't know if this will be an edit point or not, but your lighting has done a certain thing where like it casts this shadow over the lower part of your face.
I know.
And it made it like so disturbing.
I know. And I kind of just kept it like that. It was great. What that is so most of the lighting here, even though I have the ring light on, most of the lighting comes from like the TV being right in front of me. Mm-hmm. So when I don't do anything for a little while, it gets very dim.
Oh, right,
right. It just dims. And so like when I notice it, if you ever watch, like it'll start doing that to me, and I'll just start wiggling the thing around, and it'll pop back on. But like during that, I was just like, no, I'm just gonna leave it like this. It's great because I can't see myself as well. It's good.
All right. Well, last thing for me is that 2 weeks ago, friend of the show, John Gholson, who we have not had on the show yet, but you hear him nearly every week as our show announcer. He's also the one who did our logo. He and I go back over 20 years. Oh, well over 20 years at this point, now that I think about it. Mm-hmm. And he had invited me to the Dallas Fan Expo. That is why we did that really weird episode where we recorded stuff separately, because that was kind of the workaround. Now, the reason this happened, John does a lot of like work for these shows where he'll moderate panels and stuff like that, and he gets paid for it. But it's usually a volunteer basis thing. Yeah. And he was like, you know what? This year, I just want to go as a fan. Gina Davis is going to be there. I want to get her to sign my book, like her autobiography. So I want to just like go as a fan. But they actually sent him the paperwork and the contract and everything without him volunteering this time. And he was like, well, it is good money. It's fine. So he did that. And he was like, hey, do you want to come to this thing? Like the pass is already paid for. Hotel's already paid for. And I was like, well, let me check with Justin. And so we worked out this, thing for the show. I was like, okay, cool. And so I drove us there because I was like, that was kind of like part of my way of, thanking him for everything. Sense. He was really kind. He like paid for like all the food and drinks, like the whole weekend. Like, he knows I've been in a bad spot. And, and so Dallas Fan Expo is interesting because I wouldn't call it a comic convention. But I also wouldn't necessarily call it like a fandom convention. It's more of just like their big thing is like the celebrities that they can get. And it was kind of weird to have like Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon doing a Thelma and Louise panel. Cause I'm like,
really weird.
Yeah. Cause it's not even like a movie that has like a dedicated fandom around it. I'm sure it's got like kind of a cult following to it, not like that. And like Helen Hunt was there, like doing a panel and a special screening for Twister.
I haven't thought about Helen Hunt in years.
Yeah. I saw her on her way to her panel. She looked way older than I was expecting.
Yeah, I'm sure she's
she's totally fun. Yeah, it was just like a weird, and like they had like the cast of Hannibal, the TV show there. Oh, right. Like Mads Mikkelsen was there and stuff like that. Like, just not the type of people that you would associate with this type of convention. Like, and then of course you had like, people from Star Trek, people from Doctor Who, that type, a lot of voice actors. I will say before I forget, the line for Neil Newbon's autograph, Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yeah.
Was fucking ridiculous, Justin.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Like longer than big name actors that you would expect.
Wow.
Like, and that's was awesome. Like very awesome and very eye-opening.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And that's one of the cool things about going to these things is like seeing like kind of what's in the zeitgeist as far as like cosplay and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of Baldur's Gate cosplay, a lot of Astarions, a lot of Karlaks, a few Gales here and there.
Okay.
Of course, and then like a lot of Chainsaw Man, a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen, a lot of My Hero Academia. That that all tracks. Surprising amount of Ravens from Teen Titans, like double digits. Of Ravens.
Raven's pretty popular. Yeah.
Even though like there hasn't been like a Teen Titans show in quite a while.
Oh, they don't care. She's goth as shit and they're into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you had asked me like, how many Kim Possibles I expected to see at a show like this, I wouldn't have said 5 or more, but like there was like 5 or more of them. And I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Julian, we are old, and that show was very popular with that age, with a certain age group.
No, but I guess my thing is that it's been gone for a long time.
No,
so
you're right.
That's my thing.
But it lives on in their hearts, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I guess I wasn't seeing a lot of cosplay from around that era. So that's why it stood out to me, right? Like,
that makes sense.
Chainsaw Man and My Hero Academia and Spy Family make sense because those are like recent anime, right?
Yeah.
And then Teen Titans is kind of like the comics are still there and stuff like that. But Kim Possible like kind of came, it did its thing, it made its mark, obviously. Yeah. But then it went. And so I guess that's why I was surprised to see multiple Kim Possibles.
Yeah. That makes sense. Absolutely.
And then of course you have like, the show floor. So like one thing is that like this was the first like really big thing that I did since the pandemic. I mean, other than I went to see Final Fantasy Distant Worlds last November, but that was very much just like a show up right before the show, sit down, try to make myself as small as possible, and then leave. Right? Where this was like in a sea of humanity for 3 days. Mm-hmm. Right? And I handled it better than I expected to. Also, my body handled it better than I expected to, considering that I don't do fucking shit. Like, I expected to just be, like, not able to move after the first day. But no, I was sore, and, like, I had to sit down and rest a little bit more than, like, the last time that I went to one of these back in 2018.
Right.
But it wasn't like I couldn't function, after a day and a half. I was doing just fine. But then you have your booths, right? And it's always funny to see, like, there's a certain caliber of like artists that will set up at these shows where they're not quite there yet, but they think they are. And it's like,
nice.
It on one hand, it's like, don't stop, right? Like keep perfecting your craft.
Right.
But like, you're not quite where you should be asking money for your work yet. It is like extremely amateur and like, you got like just like very fundamental like flaws in your art. And it's like, and then like there was like this one lady who was selling these like geek tumblers, like drink tumblers, like a not like a thermos, but like that type of thing, like a thing you would take to work out.
Oh, okay. Got
that
you.
type of tumbler.
Yeah. Okay.
And like, it was very clear that all she did was like take some like scans from the internet and print them and like put them under the glass of the tumbler, but they weren't even formatted correctly. So like there's these like oddly stretched out off color images from various fandoms. And it's like,
but Julian, it's on a cup. What more do you want?
It sure is on a cup.
Yeah, that's the most there's a website I'm thinking of where you buy that sort of shit from.
Like Temu?
No, yeah, Temu, but that's not the one.
Etsy?
Etsy's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's very something.
You'll
like,
get better quality on Etsy than this.
That seems like this seems like the place where like, well, stop by my Etsy shop and buy this thing. Yeah, absolutely.
I was hunting the whole show floor for HoloLive merch because I was like, this is the time. Like, I'm going to get my HoloLive merch, and surprisingly couldn't find very much. I may have like wildly underestimated like the popularity, or maybe it's just not this type of show.
It might just not be the scene for it. Yeah.
There were a lot of vendors that had like anime statues and figurines, like the PVC figures, but the only HoloLive ones I found were of like a lot of the Japanese girls in like, and they were like the real sexy type. I'm like, that's not why I like HoloLive. I did find like these really nice like keychain charms, so I got like my 4 favorites: Kali, Gura, Mume, and Crony.
Nice.
So that was fun.
Was there any good PVC statues there?
Oh, like, there were some really cool ones. Like I was tempted multiple times.
Yeah, I was just curious because that's sort of my thing. I was wondering if you've seen any that were like you. Yeah, probably not though.
I didn't really see anything in any of your fandoms because I probably would have sent you a picture.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, as soon as I thought, I was like, you probably didn't see anything.
Wait a minute. I want to say there might have been one that I meant to send to you and then I forgot. Let me check real quick.
Oh, yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it.
Because like I didn't really see any like fighting game ones or like stuff that was like really in your wheel. Yeah, I didn't see
there's
anything.
A lot of like it depends. Like I usually keep up on a lot of the stuff that I'm usually into, and usually like I I forgot I even ordered. I always do this with these statues is I order them, like I'll pre-order them, and then I'll completely forget that I fucking did that.
Yeah, until it shows up randomly.
Until either it shows up or they send me a notification like, "Hey, you ready to buy this?" And I'm like, "What did I order?" Like recently, they changed the release date to something. I was like, "When did I fucking order a thing? Oh God, what did I do?"
Yeah,
and then I looked at it. It was a Persona 5 Tai Takemi statue.
Oh,
and I was like,
is it the one that I wanted? It's probably the one that I wanted.
It probably is. And I was like, yeah, I think you might have sent it to me or either that or I seen it. I can't remember. I was like, well, yeah, I'm buying that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it sucks that the release date that I didn't know existed, but I do still want that. So cool.
Yeah. Is it the one where she's sitting in her chair?
I can't remember. I'll have to look it up.
Because I don't collect that stuff, and I don't really have the room for it. And I'm glad that I don't, because like I saw there was one for Tai Takemi like after I played Persona 5 that was very tempting, and then there was a Kawakami in her maid outfit, and like those were my two romances in my two playthroughs of Persona 5. Don't judge me. No. And like I was, those were both extremely tempting.
Right. Yeah, I'll have to pull that up.
There was a really excellent Futaba cosplay.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
It was really cool.
I imagine, there'd be probably some Persona ones here and there. Yeah, people.
Not that many. I saw one Joker.
Not crazy. Yeah, Joker, some stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Surprising amount of Halo cosplay, Justin.
Really?
Yes, and not Master Chief. Just like generic Spartans and like ODST troops.
Weird.
Yeah. That was odd. What I thought too, especially considering that like the series is kind of on a downward slope right now.
Do they don't like make that series in like Texas or anything, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, I figured you would know if
maybe
if
there's like a Halo version of the Star Wars 501st. I don't know if you know about the 501st division.
Yeah, I know what I believe I learned about it from you at some point.
Where it's like this like, you know, very organized group of Star Wars cosplayers.
Yes.
Mainly Empire cosplayers.
Right.
You know, there were a bunch of them walking around, obviously. And so one of the reasons that I realized that John was kind of pushing for me to go to this is that Peter Cullen, voice of Optimus Prime, and Frank Welker, voice of Megatron, were going to be here. They do a lot of these, right?
Right.
And I had paid like $300 to do a meet and greet with both of them in 2015. And then my mom was killed in a car accident.
Right.
And the actual, so that was July 31st of 2015. The following Saturday was the day of this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked it over with my girlfriend at the time. And when we kind of both agreed that like, we should try to do it because I had already planned for it, but also like, you know, my mom is like the one who took me to see Transformers the movie. Mm-hmm. You know, years later when the Generation 2 versions of Transformers came out, she bought me Optimus Prime because I always wanted him as a little kid and we couldn't afford it. Mm-hmm. And she always remembered how much Optimus meant to me. And so we decided to go. And something happened, like they got stuck in traffic or their plane was delayed or something like that. And so they were late. You know, no complaints. Like that shit happens. But once they arrived, like, you know, it was like a long line to see them. And they, like basically like once they arrived, like we had been waiting for quite a while and like the line just really hadn't moved. And it was getting to the point where it was like, we've got to go. Like cause my mom's memorial, I don't know if I said it. My mom's memorial was that day.
Yeah.
The service. So like we had to go. And so I just couldn't do it. And then, you know, life happens. The pandemic happens. Just don't think about it anymore. But John was like, oh no, they're here, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, so now, you know, almost 10 years later, it's $300 just to meet Peter Cullen.
Right. Yeah.
And, but it was for like an ultimate meet and greet. It was like it was an autograph. It was a photo with him and it was a voice memo.
Oh, nice.
And, you know, I'm like, man, that's a lot of money. Like I'm not, you know, not doing really great right now. But then at the same time, I'm like, this might be my only chance.
Right.
Because like, he's like 82.
Right.
And it's like, he conceivably, like, he could be doing these for like many more years, but I might not be going to any, it's like, I wasn't expecting to go to this one.
Right.
And I was looking at it Friday night because there was like, he had it for Saturday and he had it for Sunday. Sunday was sold out. And that was kind of the thing where I was like, man, it's just debt. I'm never going to be debt free.
Yeah. Right.
So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. And it was like the first thing of Saturday was like waiting in line for this. And like before, once they started to like kind of get everything initiated, like the handler who was like in charge of the thing, she was like, just want to let you guys know, I do tons of these all over the country, different for different people. This is always my favorite. And she was like, you'll cry, we'll cry. It's going to be like a, just an incredible memory. Yeah. And I'm like, and that started to get me a little more excited. But then it's like, he was supposed to be there at 11. Yeah. And then it's like, and I think like at some point they were like, oh yeah, he should be here in like 5 minutes. And it was like 11:05 went by and 11:10 went by and 11:15 went by and 11:20 went by. And I was like, oh no, not again.
Yeah. Not right.
Again. But he did arrive. Yeah. And first thing I noticed is like, he's so short and it was so weird.
I've seen the picture. Yes. Yeah.
It was so weird because like, Optimus looms so big in my mind that I just expected Peter Cullen to tower over me, and so they're like, okay, so we're gonna let him set up, and then we're gonna bring you in small groups, have your item ready, have your recording ready. Like they had his script, so you could choose from like different types of messages for him to do, and it was all like so basically it was whatever. It was you could just choose from a certain number of things.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So I go, I wasn't in the first group. I was in the second group and there were like 2 guys ahead of me. And I got really worried because we sat down and like the first guy, like he went up to get his autograph and like Peter seemed like very, like kind of tired and almost like he didn't want to be there. Like, he wasn't looking up at the guy and he was, just kind of like signed the thing and then he recorded the message. And I was like, man, this is kind of this, because I saw footage like about a year before Stan Lee died, where he was at a convention after he had like a health issue. Yeah. And he was just like a zombie. They would just like put something in front of him. He would sign it and then put it to the other side. And it was just like a conveyor belt. And it was like the saddest thing. Yeah. And I was like, oh no. But then when he took the picture with the guy, he was like super warm and friendly. And I was like, okay, it is like the first of these of the weekend, right? And then the guy ahead of me, he was like, hey, Mr. Cullen, I just want to let you know that, because of you inspired me to become a voice actor. I've actually like done a lot of like audiobooks and like I've won awards. And he's like, oh, that's so wonderful. And they kind of had a little back and forth about that. And he took a picture and I was like, okay. And so next up was me. I got my Steelbook of the Blu-ray of the movie signed. That was what I chose. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to get through this without crying. I've told this story multiple times and I haven't been able to get through without crying. Yeah. Because the important thing for me was like, it wasn't about the autograph or the picture or the voice memo. It was about telling him what I told him. Yeah. And I said, Mr. Cullen, Optimus was my childhood hero. Mm-hmm. And the reason he was my hero was because of your voice. And you've been with me my whole life. And thank you so much for being there. And I'm so happy to be here. And he got so choked up. Like, he got as choked up as I did. And he almost seemed surprised by it, which I found very amazing. But because I'm sure he's heard it millions of times at this point. But I think he, especially with his age, he's probably still taken aback by how much of an impact he's had on multiple generations at this point, right? Yeah. Not just my generation, but like, years past, like the first. So I also got like, VIP seating for their panel on Sunday. Okay. And the first person to ask a question was like 10 years old. Oh, right. Yeah. Like that's the thing, right? There are plenty of guys my age and even slightly older, but also kids in there. It was really cool. But he said, like heroes are so important at that age, like especially if like things aren't great at home. Right. And and he talked about his heroes, like a lot of the Westerns and stuff like that. And his older brother, who is, like he said in interviews, like he was the main inspiration for Optimus's voice. Mm-hmm. And then he did his voice memo and he actually like customized it a little bit for me. And I think most of the people were doing voicemail messages, right? Yeah. Like that was what the 2 guys ahead of me did. And it was really cute because he would do like, this is Optimus Prime, leave a message at the tone. And then he would like do like the transformation sound. And he's like, that's the tone. But I picked the theme was Stay Strong. And the reason why I picked that was because I know it's going to be really rough for me when he passes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he'll trend on Twitter, and like my heart like sinks into my stomach. And then it's just people talk about how great he is.
Right.
And it's like,
right.
Oh, okay. Thank goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to be rough for me. And so that's what I got. And I'll lay in the audio here.
This is Optimus Prime. Julian, this message is for you. Stay strong. Stay strong, Julian Titus. And remember, although freedom is not free, it is a right of all sentient beings. Fight. Fight for it.
It hits me every time that I listen to it. And I know I'll listen to it over and over to get me through that time. Mm-hmm. But then we, stood up to take the picture, and he's tiny. Like he's like almost half my height. And the really cool thing is that his handler, she was using my phone, but she did it in like burst mode. So I have a bunch of pictures, right? So like the one that we posed for, there's like about 5 or 6 or 10 pictures of that.
Right.
But then I went over to shake his hand and said, Mr. Cullen, it has been a true honor to be here. And like the second I said that, like he was kind of overcome with emotion, and I have the pictures in sequence of him getting overcome with emotion.
Nice.
And so I want to get like four of them, like the two of us posed, and then 2 of me shaking his hand, like kind of printed and framed.
Nice. That'd be good.
But yeah, so that and then at the end of the weekend, John gave me $300. So like he paid for it, and
nice.
Like that was like one of the sweetest gifts I've ever been given. And again, it wasn't about the tangible stuff. It was about just getting to tell him something that I just felt the need to tell him.
Yeah.
And then real quick about their panel. Mm-hmm. There was one thing that I really liked, because someone asked him like if he fought to get Frank Welker cast in the Michael Bay movies after the first couple. And he says, well, no, because like I had to audition myself. Like, these executives, they don't get it, right? They don't understand what these characters mean to all of you.
Right.
They just see them as like a means to an end. Right. And, and he talked about like, he didn't have any control in the voice booth or anything like that. He's like, you need to say, I'm going to kill them all. And he's like, well, Optimus wouldn't say I'm going to kill them all. He's like, no, but that's what's on the page. Just say it. And I was so happy to hear him say that, because I had just watched Rise of the Beasts like not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is not Optimus Prime. Like he's so bloodthirsty in that movie, and he doesn't give a shit about the humans. And it's like, this is the opposite of how Optimus is written. And he felt it too, right? Like but he has to do the job. So it was nice to hear that from him. And Frank Welker was incredible too. Like I would like to meet him one day, but it was always Optimus for me, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
And also Frank Welker. I mean, they're really close in age, but Frank Welker feels like much younger than Peter Cullen. Yeah. So I feel like I have more time to do that.
Yeah.
But it was so fun watching them together and talking about, doing the show and everything like that. And I got to say, like for 82, Peter Cullen seems like he seems a lot more alert than, the person in charge of the country right now. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
like
you'll have that.
So it was just a wonderful experience. And I also have to say, I did sit in on quite a few of John's panels.
Okay.
He was mostly moderating art, like sketch duels between comic book artists.
Okay.
And he does a phenomenal job.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
He's so good at like keeping the conversation going. Even when some of the artists are kind of like, crotchety or kind of, or don't really want to answer questions or stuff like that.
Right.
Gotta say, do you know Frank Cho, the comic artist? He does a lot of like pinup style work. He did the comic Liberty Meadows.
Let me look. I might know them by their art. It sounds like something. That name sounds familiar.
I'd be surprised if you hadn't seen any of his art.
Let's see. I'll be honest with you, Julian. I'm not really super familiar with this art.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, okay. Some of this, yeah. All right. Yeah. Not really super familiar with it, but not.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. He's really popular, really well known.
I'm sure. Yeah.
He did. So John moderated a panel with him where it was just him drawing and talking, but like that dude clearly didn't want to be there. And it's like, I don't know why you didn't, or why you just signed up to do this.
Right.
Like you clearly don't want to do it. And it was a kind of a huge bummer, but John handled it really well. Like he still got some good stuff out of him, and it was entertaining panel overall. But yeah, it was really fun to watch him do that. Even and because also that was like kind of the only way that I saw him like at the show during the 3 days, because like they had him pretty much well packed, so we didn't actually walk the floor together all that much.
Mm-hmm.
That was Dallas Fan Expo. I wouldn't mind going to another one, but I would want to go with John again. That was the other nice thing was like getting to reconnect with him, because like I'd only seen him once since 2018. And that was when he came over briefly to help me like move my old TV, like, to make room for the new TV that was being delivered. Right. And we hadn't really had a chance to really like talk. And so, we talked about all sorts of stuff. We talked about like serious stuff. We talked about geek stuff. We talked about relationship stuff. We talked about the show. We talked about like he's got some stuff in the hopper right now that I'm so excited about. I don't want to like get into it. I'll let him talk about it if we can ever get him on the show, because like he is getting to a point. I always joke about this with like some of our like long-term podcast or like our long-term friends that we've worked with before, but like he is definitely getting to that point where it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get you on the show anymore, because like you're just going to be so busy.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a good time though. That's awesome,
I had a really good time. Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm really happy.
I have my steel book up on this bookcase behind me next to my 18-inch Optimus Prime figure.
Yeah.
I'm going to get he also signed the script of my message. Yeah. So I'm going to get that framed and hang that up eventually. But yeah, it was a really good time.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, man.
Let's see. So the last thing that we need to do before we get out of here is questions, comments, and concerns.
Okay.
I'm just checking Discord real quick, but no, we're caught up on there. So this is only through email. So if you have a question, comment, or concern, you can email us. The email is thestageselectpod@gmail.com. You can DM us on Twitter, which is @StageSelectPod, or there is a questions, comments, and concerns tab in our Discord, and the link to the Discord is in our link tree in the show description.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. We've got 4. I think we'll take 2 this week.
Okay, sounds good.
Because we don't get them very often, and we are catching up a little bit. So this one's actually like these first 2 are from a little bit back.
Okay,
this one comes to us from Dennis Robertson.
All right,
who says, "Hey Julian and Justin, just wanted to reach out and tell you gents what a great job you're doing. I've actually been a listener for a long time. I believe it was around 2015 or 2016 when I first started listening to NWP. Julian was a guest on the Comics Conspiracy, and I liked what he was saying, so I tuned into the NWP podcast and have been listening ever since. Unfortunately, I'm not able to listen to content in an up-to-date manner. I'm usually about a month behind. That's still the case, as today I just heard you guys comparing me to David Robinson. Thanks! I actually saw him at the Alamo Dome in 98 while I was in basic training. He is for sure the most giant human I have ever met in real life."
I believe it. Yeah.
He says, "To give you guys a little bit of background on myself, just like Julian, I worked at a video game store when I was a teenager. In my case, it was an electronics boutique. I was there from Christmas of 93 through Thanksgiving of 97. Those were some great times for sure. Crazy busy all the time, and the holidays were just completely nuts. Malls of the 90s were the best. I agree. That was right in the middle of some great console releases and some total crap as well. To this day, some of my favorite games to play are still on those early systems, like the Sega CD and 3DO. Maybe they are crap, but they remind me of that time and are still fun to play. I still play video games to this day. I do my gaming on a PC, PS5, and a few retro handhelds. I currently live and work in South Korea. You're the one! I was like, who's listening to us from South Korea? So if you guys see people from Korea listening to your podcast, it's probably me. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
It's funny because like you didn't hear it, Justin, but on that episode that we did separately, like one of the things is I kind of asked for people to like just like then he actually sent this before I said that, but I asked people to just kind of like let us know you're out there type of thing.
Gotcha.
But I guess, since he had like, I hadn't recognized his name when he popped up in the Discord and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or on Patreon. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's really cool to hear. Like,
that's cool. Yeah.
And we have had some people like in the Discord say, hey, like, I'm here. Like, I actually never listened to Nerds Without Pants. I came in from your NoCat message or whatever. And it's like, it's really awesome. Like both ends are awesome, right? It's really great to have a new show and have people discover the new show and start from there. But it also means a lot to have someone that has been listening for like almost a decade of my life at this point.
Yeah, right.
Like that's kind of crazy, like, I mean, if you started in 2015 or 2016, like you've listened to me since the worst thing that ever happened to me happened.
Yeah, right.
And, you've seen me change over the years because of that.
Yeah.
And also because of the pandemic, like definitely has changed my outlook on a lot of things in a very fundamental way. Right. And it's like, it means a lot that, people stuck with me for all of that because I feel it's insufferable. So like,
okay, well,
it's nice to hear. And yeah, it's always nice to just get to know you guys a little bit better. That's cool that you're in South Korea. That's amazing. Like, I can't even imagine, like, the only countries that I've been to that weren't America were on my cruise in 2018. And that was like such a very like rushed and very small sampling of it. Right. So,
right.
Like that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you, Dennis.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes. And then we'll close out with this one simply because like we actually got two from Casey. And so we'll save his other one and also the last one we have and whatever else we get in for next week.
Okay.
Casey Curran says, take one game and move it to a different console, exclusive or multi-platform, for a reason beyond wanting to play it somewhere else. Maybe it helps the developer, the console, or the game sales. My example would be creating a Wii version of Final Fantasy XII for the launch lineup to give it an early third-party success for more hardcore gamers, causing third parties to put higher quality titles on the console. See, the one that I would think of, it already got it, which is Shadow of the Colossus. Because that thing was like stretching the PS2 well past its limits, and you could feel it. You could feel the PS2 creaking under the weight of Shadow of the Colossus. But then we got it like re-released on PS3 and then the remake on PS4, so we're good. Right. But that's like the one that like I instantly think of because it was just like too much for that aging hardware.
Right. I almost feel like if you move any Switch exclusive over to almost any other console, that would be interesting because. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Now I never mind. I've got it. I'm not going to go Switch exclusive. I'm going to go GameCube exclusive.
Okay, there you go.
Eternal Darkness. Like if Nintendo would just like put that on any other hardware.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice, right?
Because then it would also be available digitally, and then you kind of don't have to worry as much about not being able to play Eternal Darkness.
Right.
And people should be able to play Eternal Darkness. It's phenomenal.
I think I know they're about to, a lot of the stuff is like slowly getting done. Like that Metal Gear Solid 4 would be the one that I would say is like, please put that on anything.
Yes. And it's coming finally.
Yeah, and it is happening. You know what I mean?
PS3 is actually a really good one to choose from because a lot of those games are locked there.
Yeah.
3D Game Heroes is a really good one for me from FromSoft.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. PlayStation 3 was notoriously hard to like, do stuff for. So like a lot of the.
And they haven't ported a lot of those exclusives.
They just never ported them. Yeah, because it's hard to port. Like, they had a lot of weird stuff going on, apparently, with it.
And you really want them to hard to starboard instead.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, did that. That was good.
It's been a little bit since I got you with one.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. That's good.
I think that's a show, Justin.
That's a show, Julian. Yeah, no, we're done here. That's it. Not topping that.
Well, thank you everybody for listening.
Yes, thank you all.
We'll go ahead and start wrapping this up. You can always find us online, Justin.
I'm at Tyrone_Swift on Twitter. I am on twitch.tv/TyronSwift, where I'll probably be streaming something every Saturday at about 9 o'clock, 9:30, somewhere
Eastern.
in that range. Eastern time, yes. Also, you can, if you don't catch that, you can look at YouTube. There's archives of that stuff at TyronSwift TV. And what else? Oh, and the other thing, I recorded an episode with Bill from The Gamer Looks at 40. That is probably, I think, up. I don't know if it is or not. It might.
So it went out for patrons already. So for our patron early access of this episode, it should be up the same day for public. Because his shows go up on Mondays.
Yes.
So as you're listening to this, it will be available to anybody who wants to listen.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. Where I didn't force Bill to play NBA All-Star Challenge, but he played an NBA All-Star Challenge. And you can go listen to how that went. I knew how it was going to go, but he didn't. And that was fun. So, and also I talked about other stuff too, but that's, that'll be a little while before that shows up. But it was a really great time. Bill's awesome
absolutely.
As
I'm
always.
glad he finally brought you in for an interview and hopefully it won't be the last time.
No, I hope not either. Cause, I had a blast. So yeah.
And it's always interesting to then see what makes it into the show, right. And also to hear what the other people have to say, right? So the Mystic Quest episode, I was very interested. It's there's actually quite a few other people that really liked Mystic Quest. That's nice to know,
right?
Just like when we get to Final Fantasy VII, I'll be curious to see if there's anybody else who agrees with me on Final Fantasy VII. But we shall see. He hasn't done that interview series yet. Right. He probably talked to you about that because
Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
That was what we talked about.
Okay, excellent.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
No, yeah, he should next week start releasing the Final Fantasy VI stuff. He's got 5 episodes worth of Final Fantasy VI.
That's what he told me. He was editing all that shit. That's why he's putting out the thing that we did. So
yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. You can find me on Twitter at Julian_Titus. You can also find me on Blue Sky. Just search for Julian Titus. I need to log into there. You can find the show at Stage Select Pod. Yeah. Thanks as always to the wonderful Megan McDuffie for our incredible theme song and interstitial tracks. Thank you to friend of the show, John Gholson, for being our announcer and our wonderful logo art. But that is going to... Oh, yeah. And, real quick, once again, join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. Yes. I've been trying to be more active on there. I also finally gave me and Justin host titles to have access to everything.
I think I can add everyone.
You can add everyone now, Justin.
All right. I don't want to do it because that's too much power. So,
it's fine. You should at everyone when you're on Twitch so that we remember.
Okay. All right.
Although it's become more a routine now. Last Saturday, I was working on my Elden Ring character while watching your stream. That's probably what I'll do tomorrow, unless it becomes Elden Ring becomes too intense, in which case I'll probably just try to play something dumb.
I should advertise this thing that I've been thinking about doing now, because by the time people hear this, it might be right before the week that it happens. So I think, let's see, in 2 weeks from when we're recording right now, I'll have a week off of work, right around the 4th of July. And so I think I'm just going to stream every night that week.
Ooh, okay.
Except for Friday. I can't do that night,
right.
for reasons. But every other night, fuck it. What am I doing? Maybe I'll stream during the day and on Friday. You don't know. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do any of those days, but it might just be a lot of random bullshit. But I'm just you know what? Why not? It'll be fun. I have fun streaming. It's stupid.
No, yeah. You're extremely well suited to it. For a hot second, I thought about going live on my PlayStation with Elden Ring, and I was like, no, it's not fun watching me play video games. It's really not. I can see myself when I'm playing games, and I'm you are so fucking annoying, Julian.
Yeah.
It's terrible. As always, I've been Julian Titus. He's been Justin Ham. We've been the Stage Select, signing off.
Uh-huh.
The Stage Select is copyrighted and owned by Space Monkey Mafia Productions, specializing in independent podcasting. Please consider sharing the show with your friends and support us by joining our Patreon or donating to our coffee. Thank you, and good night.